61. Beat me up, ice and fire, yin yang well. Dugubo had brought Wang Li back here alone. With Duguyan absent, Dugubo kept a stern expression, but he still gave a stream of instructions and warnings. Stay by the ice and fire yin yang well. You must not wander off or touch anything recklessly. There could be deadly poisons. If your body can't endure the clash of extreme heat and extreme cold spirit power, speak up immediately. Maybe I can still save you. I'm going out to hunt 100 or 1,000-year spirit beast to feed you for a month. Be careful while I'm gone. Wang Li, who understood right from wrong, nodded. Okay, senior. I understand. Once Dugubo left, Wang Li moved to the ice and fire yin-yang well at the center of the valley, picked a spot at the side, sat cross-legged, and began to cultivate. The extreme heat and extreme cold spirit powers that battered the area streamed into him. Others avoided them, but he welcomed them. The collision of those two forces tore at his body, but his body quickly repaired itself. The repaired areas radiated a faint, almost imperceptible glow that merged into him, becoming part of his flesh. The two opposing spirit powers circulated within him, and he tamed and assimilated them into his own spirit power. Cultivating there accelerated his spirit power toward the 27th level and tempered his body constantly. The place truly lived up to its name as one of the three great treasure troves. When he finally opened his eyes, Dugubo stood before him, face thunderous. Seeing Wang Li awake only made the old man angrier. You brat, did you not take my words to heart? How dare you sit at the edge of the ice and fire yin-yang well to cultivate? Do you know that even I wouldn't get this close? Dugubo's voice was sharp. Those two types of spirit power, extreme heat and extreme cold, have reached the level of fire poison and ice poison. No one else would dare touch them. Do you want to die? Dugubo's anger was mixed with fear. Wang Li had been gone only a short while, yet he had pushed his luck to the limit. If the boy had died, what would happen to his granddaughter? Worry made the old man's gaze harder and colder. Wang Li, however, was cheerful. He had felt the enormous gains from cultivating there, and, seeing Dugubo's worry, even tried to reassure him. Senior, look, I'm fine. My spirit power has risen a lot. My mutated blue silvergrass spirit is much more tenacious than an ordinary one. I can feel that the greater the external pressure, the faster I advance. Slow and steady cultivation doesn't suit me. The extreme heat and extreme cold are perfect for me. Also, senior, I'm hungry. Dugubo relaxed when he saw Wang Li was unharmed. Hearing the boy describe his spirit like that made some sense. If the spirit had mutated, it would explain how Wang Li possessed such high spirit power at a young age. When Wang Li mentioned hunger, Dugubo could only wave a hand. The spirit beast I caught for you is outside the valley. Go take care of it yourself. A 700-year-old great horned ox will keep you fed for a month or two. Wang Li leaped up. Thank you, senior. He was starving. Every time he finished a cultivation session, he felt like he could eat an entire ox, and now Dugubo had actually provided one. Rapid cultivation demanded a lot of resources. Outside the valley, the ox lay already dead, a yellow spirit ring hovering above it. It was a classic horned spirit beast. Its massive horns could easily impale spirit elders and spirit ancestors. Dugubo had used his power to shatter its life force without a single external wound. Wang Li got to work. He pulled knives, axes, pots, bowls, ladles, and other cooking tools from his storage spirit tool. He had prepared a full set of wilderness survival gear for precisely this sort of thing. He used blue-silver vines to hang the ox, drained its blood, and dismembered it. After a busy few hours, the ox had been turned into basins of meat, neatly divided. He stewed a pot of brisket and roasted a beef leg, then moved the remaining meat to the ice spring by the yin-yang well to refrigerate. It would keep for a month or two. It took him 3 hours to finish stewing and roasting. The food wasn't restaurant quality. Wang Li was a spirit master, not a chef, but it was hearty and delicious. He set aside a portion for Dugubo as well. At Dugubo's level, a long fast wouldn't matter, but seeing the young man eat with such relish made the old man pick up his chopsticks without thinking. After they had both eaten their fill, Wang Li looked at Dugubo with a grin. Senior, I have a favor to ask. Dugubo eyed the boy and asked flatly, What is it? Beat me up. Dugubo blinked, then narrowed his eyes. Are you serious? Wang Li nodded. Only enough pressure pushes my growth. Senior, you can be as heavy-handed as you like. I even want to feel what it's like to be on the brink of life and death. Dugubo rose slowly, an expression spreading across his face that was part menace, part delight. He had wanted to give this brat a good lesson for a long time. Now the boy was asking for it. No problem, Dugubo said, his smile chilling enough to hush a crowd. Whatever pressure you want, I'll let you experience it. Chapter 62, Near-Death State, Limit Increase. There was no rush to absorb the immortal herb. What Wang Li really wanted were the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the Li Huo Xing Jiao Su. They weren't true immortal herbs so much as poisonous plants, carrying dreadful ice poison and fire poison. In the original story, Tang San had barely survived taking them at the Spirit Elder stage, thanks to his protagonist aura. Wang Li was only a Spirit Grandmaster. Absorbing them now could be postponed. No point taking an unnecessary risk. The herbs were already within the ice and fire yin-yang. Well, right under his nose. For the moment, his priority was to cultivate spirit power and gain experience. What he had said before was true. He wanted to know what being on the brink of death felt like. He wanted Dugubo to seriously injure him to trigger greater potential. In the past, he'd trained by relying on his vitality trait and tenacity passive, smashing into trees to toughen himself. It helped, but it couldn't truly bring him to the edge. He needed something more drastic so that the next time he absorbed a spirit ring, or the time after that, he could take a ring beyond the usual age limit. Older, higher quality spirit beasts provided far more life essence. The panel could raise the spirit ring age limit and strengthen spirit abilities, but to absorb life essence and evolve a spirit again, his only practical path right now was to absorb spirit rings, and that required experience. Soon Dugubo led Wang Li to a relatively open place in the valley. Standing opposite Dugubo, Wang Li felt what it meant to face a titled Douluo. The pressure was crushing. Dugubo didn't need to flashily use spirit or spirit abilities. He simply condensed terrifying spirit power into his palm. Looking at Wang Li as if he were a toy to be pummeled, Dugubo even had a teasing tone. Kid, since you want to feel pressure, I'll let you feel the pressure of a titled Douluo. In a flash, Dugubo closed the distance. Wang Li barely registered the motion before a palm struck his chest, packed with spirit power and devastating force. Bang! Pain exploded through him, and he was hurled 15 meters, crashing to the ground. It felt like his whole body had been torn apart. He tried to cry out, but no sound came. Only a sense of absolute, suffocating pressure remained. Still, he forced himself up and grinned through the agony. Senior, it's not enough yet. I'm not on the verge of death. Dugubo frowned, surprised that Wang Li could still stand after his restrained strike. After a moment, he raised his palm again and warned in a deep voice, Kid, use all your spirit power to resist, otherwise this palm will take more than half your life. Blood trickled from Wang Li's lips. He was a mess, but his eyes burned bright as he circulated spirit power through his battered body. Senior, make your move. Dugubo's next attack was even fiercer. Spirit power squeezed in on him from all sides. Wang Li could no longer move. Bang! He hit the ground again, vision swimming, the pain pressing on him to the brink of fainting. He clenched his teeth and held on, and through that pain flashed the most brilliant smile. Dugubo, anxious at the sight, squatted and checked him. Wang Li, are you all right? Wang Li forced a twitch of a smile. Senior, I'm fine. A lot of bones broken, some organs displaced. I honestly feel like I'm about to die. This severe injury will probably take 3 to 5 days to recover, but my spirit and spirit power are very active and are working hard to heal my body. Dugubo relaxed. He was relieved by Wang Li's clear speech, but also puzzled. What kind of mutated spirit was this that only reached its maximum effect once the bearer was half dead? Wang Li was elated. Dugubo's 2 strikes alone had netted him over 3,000 experience points, more than he'd earned in half a year in the Great Spirit Arena. More important, in that near-death state, teetering between life and death, he felt the indomitable vitality of the blue-silver grass erupt through him. That was the source of his vitality trait and tenacity passive. It surged from every part of his body, accelerating healing, strengthening his physique, and awakening potential. The results were immediate. In 1 day, Wang Li could walk. In 3 days, he was basically recovered. In 7 days, he was bounding about again. Then, he cheerfully went back to Douluo for another beating and wound up half dead once more to wait out recovery. Seeing Wang Li's resilience, Douluo increased the force of his blows over time, holding back only enough to avoid killing him. More than 20 days passed like this. One morning, Douluo warned him, "Kid, I'm going to pick up Yan Yanji for her holiday. In front of her, you know how to behave, right?" Wang Li nodded quickly. I understand, senior. Hurry up. I miss Yan Yanji too." Douluo shot him a fierce look, then shook his head in helplessness before disappearing in an afterimage. When Douluo returned with Douluyan, the reunion after 20 days only deepened their affection. Douluyan ran up to Wang Li, patted his head and scolded, "Your hair's a mess. You don't even take care of it. Also, Shaoli, is Grandpa beating you every day? Why are your clothes so torn?" Wang Li glanced at Douluo's threatening look, then smiled. "Nothing like that. Senior has guided me a lot. I did this to myself during training, and I don't have extra clothes to change into." Douluyan half believed him, then grabbed him and said, "Come on, let's go to Heaven Do City. Get a haircut, buy some clothes. Boys can't be so sloppy." From then on, Wang Li's life settled into a rhythm. Get beaten, recover, cultivate, and see Douluyan. 10 months later, he came out of cultivation with a grin he couldn't hold back. "Not bad, I'm level 30. He decided to postpone absorbing the immortal herb for now. The protagonist would eventually take it, and Douluyan would almost certainly try it too. He thought Douluyan should be the one to try the yearning, heartbroken red. It seemed the highest quality choice. It wouldn't hurt to spend another 2 or 3 years cultivating feelings. By then, the protagonist would have matured, and their relationship could deepen naturally. Also, when Beelin's snake evolved, maybe it should get a new name. Wang Li smiled at the plan, looking forward to the future. Roar! A roar rang out across the valley, followed by a sigh of relief threaded through endless pain, proof of the creature that had made it. When the sound faded, Douluo emerged from the cave. His face was drawn and exhausted, but his eyes were calmer than they'd been before. In the past, he would have felt helpless, certain the rest of his life would be spent in that same agony. Now, there was at least a sliver of hope. Wang Li, being able to suppress the deadly venom in his granddaughter and keep her alive, had already felt like a miracle. If this boy grew stronger, he might be able to help keep that venom in check permanently. If his pain could be eased even a little, Douluo would be grateful. He stepped out of the cave and found Wang Li waiting there with a grin. A gentle warmth touched Douluo's eyes. People aren't plants, they feel. After living together for 10 months, a certain closeness had formed. Seeing the boy loitering outside the cave, Douluo teased, "What, kid, here for another beating?" Wang Li's grin widened, and he answered honestly, "Not this time, senior. I've broken through to level 30 spirit power. I need a 1,000-year spirit beast for my 3rd spirit ring." At that, Douluo's expression changed completely. He looked at Wang Li like he'd been staring at a monster. He took a deep breath and spoke solemnly. "In 10 months, you've increased your spirit power by 4 levels. You really are a monster, kid. Even the most talented spirit masters struggle from 29 to 30, and you did it so easily." Wang Li beamed. "It's all thanks to the ice and fire yin-yang. Well, this treasure land, and your guidance, senior. For 10 months, I've either been getting beaten or waiting to get beaten. That let my mutated spirit reach its maximum effect. Also, every time my body recovers, I come back stronger. For my 3rd ring, I don't want a 1,000-year spirit beast. I want to take on a 2,000 or even 3,000-year spirit beast." "You've been in the Sunset Forest so long, senior. Are there any plant-type spirit beasts here that are extremely resilient, 2 to 3,000 years old?" All of Wang Li's beatings had come from Douluo, so Douluo knew the boy's body better than anyone. Which of his bones had never been broken? Which organs had never been injured? For any other spirit master, that kind of damage would have left permanent disability. Wang Li not only recovered quickly each time, but seemed to grow more resistant to injury. His spirit power and flesh were entwined, subtly repelling damage. Even as a mutated blue-silver grass spirit, the fact he could suppress the Beelin snake's venom was extraordinary. Douluo thought for a moment, then nodded. It's not impossible for you to absorb a spirit ring beyond the normal limit. And yes, I've seen a resilient 2,000-year plant spirit beast here. Have you heard of the Great Vajra Vine? There's one in the Sunset Forest. It's at least 2,000 years old. Not quite 3,000, but it should be enough for you. The name lit Wang Li up. He'd studied plant spirit beasts because of his own plant-type spirit. The Great Vajra Vine was famous among plant beasts for its astonishing vitality, a king among strength-based plants. Rare, with enormous potential, its outer skin thickened like armor with every year of cultivation, growing in strength as well. It might not seem exceptional at 10 or 100-year stages, but at the 1,000-year mark, it could casually strangle animal spirit beasts of 6,000 or 7,000 years. At 10,000 years, anything under 100,000 years could be toyed with. Thick armor, overwhelming vitality, brutal strength, the Great Vajra Vine was a true plant monarch. "Please help me, Senior," Wang Li said eagerly. Douluo stretched, the venom backlash already passing. It was a good time to move and exercise. "Your growth helps both me and Yan Yan. Let's go, before someone else hunts it down." He flashed to Wang Li's side, grabbing the boy's shoulder, and they took to the sky. Wang Li, having been flown like this many times, snapped into place without complaint. He looked down at the sunset forest with anticipation. Absorbing a Great Vajra Vine spirit ring would hugely strengthen his blue-silver grass and might even unlock a powerful spirit skill. Most importantly, if things went well, his spirit might evolve again. With the speed of a tidal Douluo, they reached their destination quickly. When they landed, Douluo scanned the trees and said, "Good, the Great Vajra Vine is still here. Lucky you, kid." Wang Li followed his gaze. Coiled around a giant tree was a vine spirit beast thicker than a thigh. Its hue was a bluish-green with a metallic sheen, its surface hard and rough like a giant python. Douluo set Wang Li down and gave him a stern warning. "My attacks carry potent venom. With your level 30 spirit power, you won't be able to resist it. You must stay far away, but don't be careless. There are a few 1,000-year spirit beasts nearby." Wang Li nodded. "I'll leave it to you, Senior." He used instant step and vanished, reappearing in a few bounds atop a nearby tree to wait. Without the boy at his side, Douluo could unleash everything. He activated his spirit avatar, and it was as if a fierce, sky-swallowing python had opened its eyes. A ghastly green poison mist curled around his body. Wherever that mist passed, flowers and leaves withered, trees drained of vitality. Even so, the Great Vajra Vine seemed unaffected. It surged into the mist as if provoked, intent on seizing the source, Douluo himself. With its thick armor, brute strength, and incredible vitality, the 2,000-year-old Great Vajra Vine had the means to fight desperately against a titled Douluo. Even without calling on the higher spirit abilities of 10,000-year tiers, it took Douluo, with his titled Douluo strength, over 10 minutes of furious struggle to finally subdue the vine. He dispelled his spirit avatar and pulled the last wisp of poisonous mist back into himself, then let out a long breath. "Wang Li, you can come over now." Chapter 64. Crazy Dance. When Wang Li heard that, he didn't hesitate and stepped forward at once. He had seen the Great Vajra Vine's performance with his own eyes. This was a spirit beast facing a titled Douluo, and it had not been instantly subdued. It had put up real resistance. That alone proved how powerful the Great Vajra Vine was. As he drew near, he saw the creature had been poisoned by Douluo's paralysis toxin, corrosive venom, Belin snake poison, jade phosphor serpent venom. Its body was badly damaged, yet it still writhed relentlessly. Its vitality was terrifying. Worried it might not last, Wang Li took out a giant forged iron axe from his spirit tool and hacked at it, once, twice, 3 times, 4. Only when the vine was broken into several sections did it finally lose all movement, and a purple spirit ring burst free and condensed into form. Wang Li's eyes lit up. He stowed his axe and turned to Douluo. "Thank you for your help, Senior. I'll absorb this spirit ring now." Douluo nodded, then warned, "This Great Vajra Vine has at least 2,500 to 2,700 years of cultivation. It's a plant spirit beast famed for its vitality. Be careful. Keep your mind steady and don't relax." Wang Li was confident. Spirit beasts under 10,000 years left no lingering resentment, and his body could handle the strain of absorption. "All right, Senior, I understand." He sat cross-legged, called forth his spirit, and let blue-silver grass coil around him. 2 yellow spirit rings pulsed faintly at his sides. He released spirit power, and the purple spirit ring of the great Vajravine flew to him, settling on the blue-silver grass. A domineering, vibrant current of spirit power flooded into Wang Li. Even with his robust physique, his breath staggered. Then he grinned inwardly. Come on, the stronger you are, the happier I am. The more you resist, the more exciting this is. He gathered his mind, activated his meditation method, and began to both suppress and guide the incoming force, trying to lead that immense spirit power to circulate in a steady loop through his body. His constitution was strong enough to contain it. It felt overwhelming for a while, but he gritted his teeth and endured. Once the circulation smoothed, he began absorbing it properly. 1 hour passed, 2 hours, time ticked by. By logic, the absorption should have finished, but nothing like that happened. Instead, a milky white light bloomed around him. Douluo, watching, frowned. Normal spirit ring absorption wasn't like this. The light thickened until it formed a cocoon that shrouded Wang Li completely. Still, Wang Li's face had looked calm and pain-free, so Douluo stayed on guard but did not intervene. Inside the cocoon, Wang Li's spirit was transforming and evolving. For him, this was an all-around improvement. 10 hours slipped away from day into night. Suddenly the light burst and dissolved into white airflow that seeped back into Wang Li with his breath. He opened his eyes, bright and clear, and smiled. He felt better than ever. Douluo exhaled in relief and asked, curious, "What happened? You absorbed a 3rd spirit ring, and it turned into an event." Wang Li stretched and laughed lazily. "My spirit is very compatible with the great Vajravine. Its enormous vitality caused my already mutated blue-silver grass to mutate further." He glanced at the status panel, only he could see. Host, Wang Li, Spirit, blue-silver grass, level 3, evolving. Spirit power, level 32, 10% trait, vitality. Level 3, blue-silver grass found everywhere on the Douluo Continent, though usually weak, possesses unusually strong vitality and can slowly recover from injuries. Passive, tenacity level 3, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. When suffering any abnormal status, provided I don't die, my physique becomes stronger after recovery. Spirit rings. 1st spirit ring equipped, 2nd spirit ring equipped, 3rd spirit ring equipped. Spirit bones. Combat experience. 110-2480. His blue-silver grass had finally advanced again after awakening. He opened the evolving progress. LV3, level 4 life origin, 1240. Unless his 4th spirit ring turned out to be a 10,000-year ring, he'd likely have to wait until his 5th spirit ring to reach the next stage. His spirit power had risen to level 32 after absorbing a spirit beast over 2,000 years old. His spirit talent had strengthened. Then Wang Li opened details on the 3rd spirit ring. His eyes widened. Spirit ability, chaotic dance. All attributes increased by 50%, strength 50%, speed plus 50%, armor 50%, armor penetration 50%, etc., and performs indiscriminate crushing attacks in all directions. Note, greater control of spirit power improves control over the blue-silver vines during chaotic dance. Source, Great Vajravine, a king among plant spirit beasts, renowned for its vitality and rare potential. Age, 26 and 24 plus, Wang Li gasped. This spirit ability, granted by the 3rd spirit ring, was the kind a 1,000-year spirit ring might provide, or rather, the combination of absorbing this 3rd ring and the current stage of his spirit's evolution had produced it. Douluo, seeing Wang Li's expression, couldn't hide his curiosity. What changed in your spirit? What ability did you gain? Wang Li decided to show rather than tell. He activated his 1st spirit ability. Blue-silver grass roots erupted explosively from the ground, transforming into vines as thick as an adult's thigh. They spread outward in every direction within 10 meters like giant pythons. His eyes shone. Absolute life brought absolute power, and absolute power brought absolute destruction. These thick vines were the purest expression of that power. No restraint, no mercy. Thunder, fire, divine wind, frost, whatever came against him, if his vines didn't kill it outright, then they at least left nothing to spare. He spoke softly. 3rd spirit ability, chaotic dance. The 3rd spirit ring glowed, and Wang Li's spirit power surged outward. All the blue-silver vines took on a metallic sheen. They twisted and struck so fast they left after images. The air crackled. The ground thudded as if an earth dragon had rolled over, as if gigantic beasts were trampling. Nearby, withered flowers and trees were uprooted by the violent motion. Dugubo stared, stunned. Was this really a spirit elder's third spirit ability? It felt more like the fourth ability of a spirit ancestor. Half envious and half resentful. When we first met, you were level 25 and I was 31, she complained with a pout. Less than a year has passed and you've already broken through to Spirit Elder, while I've only advanced by 2 levels. Xiao Li, what kind of monstrous talent are you? Big sister's so jealous. Though the soft, fair hands kneading his face weren't unpleasant, Wang Li cut it off gently. He took her hands and spoke seriously. Yan Yan Jie, stop fooling around. This time, I'll suppress all the toxins back into your spirit. Your body will be completely healthy again. Without the toxins dragging you down, you'll be able to cultivate much faster. Like before, I'll use my second soul skill to transform spirit power into a special life force and infuse it into your body to suppress the toxins. It will take some time. Just think of it as falling asleep. Duguyan's eyes brightened. If the toxins that had plagued her for so long could finally be resolved, it would be a blessing. She giggled, delighted. Heh, Xiao Li, I'll leave my toxins to you. Wang Li nodded, then turned to Dubo. Senior, I'll be consuming spirit power continuously while using my second soul skill. I need you to guard me. Dugubo nodded resolutely. This concerned his granddaughter's safety. If any spirit master or spirit beast dared intrude now, he would not hesitate. He was also eager to see what effect the second soul skill would have on the potent venom of the Belin snake. Wang Li summoned his spirit. Blue-silver branches coiled around Duguyan's body as he activated the second soul skill, revitalization. Of the 3 spirit rings glimmering around Wang Li, 2 yellow and 1 purple, a yellow ring flared. His spirit power began to transform continuously into life force, flowing from his hands through the blue-silver branches into Duguyan. Like rain soaking parched earth, the life force nourished Duguyan, waking her vitality and pushing her bodily functions beyond their normal limits. Her body felt an extraordinary warmth that held her wrapped. Her physical systems, muscles, organs, meridians, took over the work they had begun before, suppressing and expelling toxins, drawing the poisonous residues from her limbs, bones, and internal organs back into their proper place. The process was driven by Duguyan's own physiology. Her body temperature surged as she entered a combat-like state. If her bodily functions could speak, they would say, "You sleep now, leave the rest to us." Duguyan, reassured by Wang Li and her grandfather, relaxed completely and soon fell asleep in Wang Li's arms. Dugubo watched with fervent eyes. This was no time to obsess over petty thoughts about his granddaughter being in Wang Li's arms. As a titled Douluo, his perception was sharp. He could clearly sense that Duguyan's condition was improving. If everything went smoothly, she would recover her health. Thinking of that possibility filled Dugubo with excitement. 3 hours later, Duguyan finally woke, looking radiant and full of energy. In contrast, Wang Li, his spirit power completely drained, had a pale face and tired eyes, utterly exhausted. Seeing Duguyan awake, Dugubo asked with trembling voice, "Yanyanjie, how is your body? Is there any poison left?" Duguyan quickly checked herself and cried out in surprise, "Grandpa, there's no more Belin snake venom in my limbs, bones, or organs. It's all retreated back into my spirit." Old tears ran down Dugubo's face. "That's wonderful. That's wonderful." At that moment, Wang Li's voice sounded, somewhat awkwardly, "Senior, Yanyanjie, I don't mean to interrupt, but I have a bad feeling." He reached out and brushed a purple lock of hair behind Duguyan's ear, then looked into her green eyes. Her hair is still purple and her eyes are still green. They haven't returned to normal. "My second spirit ability can suppress the venom, but it can't completely eliminate the Belin snake's poison. In the future, as she gets more spirit rings and takes part in more spirit battles, the poison, originating from the spirit, could continue to erode her body. However, as long as the poison is regularly suppressed, it definitely won't endanger her life or prevent her cultivation. It isn't ideal, but the Belin snake spirit's flaw, the backlash against its owner, hasn't truly been resolved." Dugubo and Duguyan fell silent at Wang Li's words. Then they exchanged a look and chose not to dwell on it. Dugubo smiled. "This is enough. Suppressing the Belin snake's venom is already hard. As long as Yanyanjie's life is safe, that's the best outcome we could hope for." Duguyan toyed with her purple hair and said in a relaxed, unconcerned tone, "Purple hair, green eyes, what does it matter? Others would kill for this and can't have it." She hesitated, then looked nervously at Wang Li. "Xiao Li, do you like me like this?" Wang Li pursed his lips. He already had a plan, Tang San's suggestion of storing the poison in a spirit bone, but he hadn't fully considered Dugubo and Duguyan's possible future strength. If they reached 95 spirit power and beyond, could a 10,000-year spirit bone really contain that terrifying venom? It wasn't a 100,000-year spirit bone or an external spirit bone that could grow and adapt. Tang San essentially stripped the ice and fire yin-yang well bare, leaving almost nothing for Dugubo and Duguyan. Given Dugubo's talent, it was nearly impossible for him to advance past 95. For Duguyan, even reaching 90 would be a struggle. For Tang San, the spirit bone method might suffice, and using immortal-grade herbs on them would be wasteful. Wang Li didn't want to accept that. He fell into deep thought about what kind of immortal-grade combination could truly cure a spirit flaw. Back in reality, an increasingly nervous and crestfallen Duguyan at last heard Wang Li's answer. He looked determined and solemnly promised, "I like Yanyanjie. I like you, no matter what you look like, and I will find a way to completely resolve the Belin snake's spirit flaw." Duguyan trembled at his words. Pink hearts bloomed in her green eyes. She threw her slender arms around Wang Li's neck, pulled him into a warm hug and rubbed her pointed chin against his hair, her voice full of tenderness. "Hey, Xiao Li is the best! I like Xiao Li the most!" The hug was soft and comforting, but it practically smothered Wang Li. He struggled and muffled out, "Yan Yan Jie, I can't, almost, breathe." Du Yan had been spoiled by Dugu Bo, uninhibited and straightforward in her affections. For Wang Li, however, this intensity was overwhelming. Dugu Bo, standing beside them, glared in fury as if he wanted to intervene, but he soon relaxed. He had seen Wang Li's talent and character. There was nothing to complain about. Talent, a 10-year-old spirit elder. How many like him were there across the continent? Temperament. After absorbing a spirit ring and becoming a spirit elder, his first thought was to help Dugu Yan suppress the poison. What more could Dugu Bo ask for? He retreated silently, though his heart ached watching his beloved little cotton jacket grow up and be claimed by someone else. 2 years later, just outside Sunset Forest, Dugu Bo threw Wang Li out and scolded him. "Brat, you don't want this, you don't want that. The spiked thorn isn't bad, but you just had to insist on a greedy root demon. That root demon moves on its own. Where am I supposed to find one for you? Think carefully, then come back to hunt a spirit beast with me when you've made up your mind." Wang Li landed lightly on the ground, rolling nimbly to avoid injury. Dugu Bo's figure had already disappeared. Wang Li looked after him with a helpless expression. 2 months earlier, he had broken through to 40 spirit power, then begged Dugu Bo to help him hunt the spirit beast he needed for his 4th spirit ring. This time, he had a thorough plan. He wanted a greedy root demon, a terrifyingly tenacious plant-type spirit beast. Though it had stems and leaves, those were like a gecko's tail, detachable decoys. Its true body was its underground root system, an incredibly developed network that allowed it to move beneath the earth. It had unmatched absorption capabilities and preferred places littered with the corpses of spirit masters and spirit beasts. Unfortunately, there were none in Sunset Forest. What Wang Li needed was its incredible vitality and absorption ability. With an absorption spirit ability, combined with his first 3 spirit skills, he could become a top-tier control, healing, and attack hybrid spirit master. Moreover, he hadn't touched the octagonal mysterious ice grass or the Lai Huoxing Jiao Su for 2 years. He had absorbed extreme heat and extreme cold spirit power for 3 years. Although the spirit power had been tamed, he couldn't use the extreme heat and cold energies yet. If he took the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the Lai Huoxing Jiao Su, he could activate those extreme energies, which would help him absorb the medicinal potency of 2 immortal-grade herbs to the fullest. Coupled with a 4th spirit ability that could draw energy, siphoning power from the ice and fire yin-yang well, he could maximize the dissolution of immortal-grade herb power. He had a faint feeling this would bring unprecedented benefits. Missing this chance would haunt him. He would be furious with himself. This was an opportunity even Tang San hadn't seized. Tang San's unawakened blue-silver grass couldn't have survived in the ice and fire yin-yang extrang. Well, let alone absorb extreme spirit energies to cultivate. Wang Li whispered to himself, "Forget it. I'll head back to the academy first. In any case, I must get that greedy root demon." This chapter has been reviewed and I'm re-uploading it. If chapters get duplicated in the future, I will handle it as soon as possible. I only wrote a little and it still needs proofreading. Thanks to the readers, why can't I choose any name for 100 Chidian coins and Yue Jiang for 100 book coins as a reward? After Dugu Bo threw him out of Sunset Forest, Wang Li had to make the journey back on his own. With instant step, he wasn't slow, and it didn't take long to reach the foot of the mountain where the Heaven Do Royal Academy sat. Just as he was about to head up, a staff member stepped forward to ask, "Excuse me, sir, what brings you to Heaven Do Royal Academy?" The academy had only 500 or 600 students. Everyone generally knew every face. They didn't recognize Wang Li, which was understandable. He had only spent half a month there before being taken away by Dugu Bo 3 years ago. In those years, his appearance had changed drastically. He had shot up in height and now stood about 1.84 meters. His face still looked young, but the childishness was gone. Broad shoulders, a narrow waist, long legs. He wasn't a beast spirit type with bulky musculature, but his frame was lean and well-proportioned. broad back, wasp waist, long limbs. His features were clean-cut, his eyes big and expressive, handsome without being flashy. He wore a simple, close-fitting blue outfit, the material plainly excellent, chosen by Douluo Yan with an eye for quality. Although the staff didn't recognize him, they were polite. Wang Li chuckled and explained, "I'm Wang Li. I was in the Heaven Do Royal Battle Team trainee camp. 3 years ago, I followed Senior Douluo for special training. The academy shouldn't have expelled me. May I enter?" Hearing that, the staff's expressions shifted. The story of Wang Li being chosen by a titled Douluo and taken away had circulated 3 years ago, an enviable fate. "Please come in," one of them said. "The trainee camp was disbanded. Now there's just the Heaven Do Royal Team, Team 1 and Team 2, over at the Back Mountain campus. Do you want us to take you there?" Wang Li smiled slightly, a little dazed. "No trouble, I know the way," he replied and headed up the white marble steps. Even after 3 years, he remembered where everything was. The staff members exchanged looks and reported him immediately. A normal student coming back wouldn't alarm the academy's higher-ups, but few had been selected by a titled Douluo after only a month and then left for 3 years. The academy occupied a whole mountain range, but only a few hundred students. Much of the campus was quiet and empty, except for cleaners. Wang Li found the old training ground from memory. Qinming had set Team 1 and Team 2 to spar in team matches. Team 1 was performing well, Team 2 less so. Qinming had been thinking that their lack of pressure might make the royal team complacent. It was probably time for a new round of training, and to go to the Great Spirit Arena for real competition. Only true combat against strong opponents could push them further. At that moment, Wang Li returned to the group. Douluo Yan recognized him first and exclaimed, "Xiao Li, Grandpa let you out!" Wang Li waved and smiled. "Yes, Yan Yanji, Teacher Qin, everyone, long time no see." His gaze swept the faces around him. They were the same group from the trainee camp 3 years ago. Many had been eliminated, the rest split into Team 1 and Team 2. Seeing him now, there was a strange mixing of familiarity and surprise. How could the boy they remembered, 9 years old and still childish, have become this tall, confident young man? Most of them were now between 16 and 20, their appearances set, but Wang Li had been at the fastest growth stage. Of course, he had changed more than anyone else. Qinming, too, had changed. He was no longer a Heaven-tier Spirit King teacher, but a Heaven-Do-tier Spirit Emperor teacher, a breakthrough into Spirit Emperor by his 30s that made his prospects limitless. Seeing the team's flagging fighting spirit, he had called a halt and now looked at Wang Li with curiosity. "Wang Li," he asked, "why are you back? Is your special training with Senior Douluo finished, or is there another reason?" Wang Li sighed. "I broke through to level 40 spirit power," he said helplessly, "but Senior Douluo couldn't find the spirit beast I wanted. He threw me out and told me to pick another spirit beast, then go hunt it myself." Those calm words hit everyone like a slap. Level 40 at 12 years old. What sort of prodigy was this? All eyes turned to Douluo Yan, who had kept silent until now. She held her head high, chin up, pride clear on her face. Of course she had known. She had simply never told them. Qinming's shock was evident. Shrek's standard required spirit power above level 21 for those under 12 to enroll, and above level 41 for under 20 graduation. So to reach near graduation level right at enrollment was almost unthinkable. The others felt it too. Wang Li had closed and passed the 6 or 7 year gap in cultivation. These were no ordinary students. They were the elite descendants of the Heaven Do Empire, with top-tier spirit talent and resources. And yet one person in particular stiffened. Yu Tianheng's eyes burned. His fighting spirit surged as he spoke in a low voice. "Wang Li, 3 years ago, I was a spirit elder, and you were a spirit grandmaster. I had the advantage then. Now we're both spirit elders. I'm level 38 and you're level 40. Do you dare to fight me again?" As soon as the challenge left his mouth, everyone snapped back to attention. 68, 1, 2, 7, please follow up. Wang Li didn't care. A fight was a fight, so he nodded. "I don't mind, but you're not in top form right now. Why don't we have a fair fight after you recover?" Yu Tianheng's spirit flared. He hadn't fully unleashed his power when fighting the second team earlier. Though he'd burned a lot of spirit, his strength had not waned. A blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit master has pride, he said. If someone dares to fight me, they can fight me now. There's no need to wait. He glanced toward Duguyan as he spoke. If he won this, he could prove he was the strongest. Everyone nearby watched with anticipation. On one side was Yu Tianheng, the acknowledged powerhouse. On the other was Wang Li, who had trained for 3 years beside a titled Douluo. It was a matchup everyone wanted to see. After a brief pause, Teacher Qin agreed. He was curious about Wang Li's true strength. Wang Li would be an important combatant for the Heaven Do royal team, so it was wise to learn his capabilities now. I agree to this duel. Everyone, spread out and clear the battlefield, Teacher Qin ordered. People quickly made space. Duguyan, annoyed that Yu Tianheng had interrupted her chance to talk to Wang Li, only said tersely, Yu Tianheng is very strong. Be careful, but I believe in you. Beat him and come back. He had to pick a fight the moment you returned. Wang Li smiled and nodded. No problem. I've trained hard these past few years. What happened 3 years ago won't happen again. Soon only the two of them were left in the arena. Prepare yourselves. Summon your spirits, Teacher Qin commanded. Yu Tianheng's spirit manifested in the same terrifying way as before. After possession, his right arm had become fully dragonized, 3 spirit rings hovering around it. Blue-purple lightning danced and crackled along the arm. Wang Li's spirit rose in a swirl of blue-silver grass. 2 yellow and a purple spirit ring pulsed in the plant's aura. He lacked the raw, oppressive aura of a blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit master, but Wang Li was calm, a confident smile on his face. Yu Tianheng struck first. First spirit ability, Thunder Dragon Claw, he roared, charging his right arm with concentrated power. Lightning gathered and erupted into a vertical pillar of thunder. 3 years ago, that same move had cleared a vast area of Wang Li's blue-silver grass. This time, Wang Li didn't dodge or retreat. He clasped his hands and used his first spirit ability at once. The blue-silver grass surged like a gale, snapping and growing, weaving together from both sides into a massive blue-silver wall. Boom! Thunder exploded. Lightning seared the air, dazzling the eyes. When the dust settled, everyone stared in disbelief, including Yu Tianheng. His lightning had scorched a huge swath of the blue-silver wall, but it had not cut through. Thick blue-silver vines, as sturdy as giant pythons, still stood. Yu Tianheng faltered. Wang Li did not hesitate. Dozens of hardened vines shot forward toward Yu Tianheng. He snapped to alertness and swung his dragonized arm, conjuring lightning to burn them away, something he had done easily before. But now the thick, armor-like vines, enhanced with great Vajravine resilience, wrapped around him and bound him tight. Wang Li manipulated the vines with brutal strength. The force made Yu Tianheng's bones creak. Even with his powerful body as a blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit master, pain shot through him. Gritting his teeth, Yu Tianheng activated his third spirit ability. Third spirit ability, Rage of Thunder. His lightning output doubled. The blue-purple bolts surged and began to char the vines. Using the cut he'd made, he forced free, but the pain was brutal. He pushed on, calling forth his second spirit ability. Second spirit ability, Thunderous Fury. Under the third ability's boost, countless blue-purple lightning arcs condensed into fierce lightning arrows. The air burned with ozone. The scene was deafening, blinding, the spirit fluctuations intense. It seemed like nothing could withstand Yu Tianheng's onslaught. Then Wang Li unleashed his third spirit ability, Chaotic Dance. Every attribute of the blue-silver grass spiked by 50%. Strength, speed, armor penetration, all amplified. The vines took on a metallic sheen and twisted so quickly they blurred into afterimages. They endured the whipping lightning and struck Yu Tianheng relentlessly. Bones cracked, flesh tore, and internal injuries exploded across his body. In moments he was severely wounded and then collapsed, unconscious. Throughout the entire fight, Wang Li's feet hadn't moved from his original position. Silence washed over the crowd. They had expected a titanic clash between dragon and beast, but this was a total rout. That was blue-silver grass, indeed, but upgraded in ways no one had imagined. Only then did Wang Li speak. Teacher Qin, should I heal Senior Yu Tianheng? My healing spirit ability is quite effective. Teacher Qin stared, stupefied. Was Wang Li an extraordinary prodigy, or had Dugubo's training transformed him? What kind of monster was this student? He recovered and called out to the nearby healers. Ling Ling, heal Yu Tianheng. A tall, graceful girl with long, waterfall-like deep blue hair and equally deep blue eyes, her face partly hidden by a veil, stepped into the arena. She cast a quick glance at Wang Li, clearly intrigued by his healing ability, then rushed to Yu Tianheng's side. She summoned her spirit. A begonia flower bloomed, its petals and branches unfurling. 2 yellow and 1 purple spirit rings pulsed within its aura. The purple ring glowed, a sweet fragrance bursting forth as petals drifted onto Yu Tianheng's body and were absorbed. His color returned, and his wounds mended both inside and out. Teacher Qin exhaled in relief. Before he could say more, applause broke out from nearby. Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan, and Ji Lin had watched the whole duel. They looked at Wang Li with complex expressions, astonishment, surprise, and even a hint of excitement. The more gifted the Academy's students, the better it was for them. Meng Shenji stepped forward, emotion in his voice. Wang Li, your talent exceeds our expectations. Your rate of cultivation and your potential are on par with the top geniuses on the continent. We're very fortunate you chose our academy. Wang Li's chest tightened at those words. He looked at the 3 teachers and replied modestly, 3 teachers, I think only a part of my current strength comes from my mutated spirit. A part comes from all my teachers over the years, who guided me carefully and gave me an ideal spirit ring setup. The rest is thanks to Senior Dugu's dedicated training. Without Senior Dugu, I wouldn't be where I am today. 69. Stardow Forest, seeking for reading. Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan, and Ji Lin exchanged glances. They all acknowledged Dugubo's formidable reputation, but he was a reclusive poison master, a loner not known for training spirit masters. Still, the fact stood before them. Wang Li, 12 years old and at the 40th rank of spirit power. That reality left them no room for doubt. Ji Lin, who bore the green vine spirit and understood plant spirits and plant spirit beasts better than most, was still baffled by the terrifying display of Wang Li's blue-silver grass. He cleared his throat and asked cautiously, Wang Li, if it isn't too presumptuous, what kind of spirit beast did you get your 3rd spirit ring from? Wang Li smiled slightly. This was the best way to explain his power. A great Vajra vine, over 2,000 years old. At those words, shock crossed the faces of Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan, Qi Lin, and even Qin Ming, who had been standing nearby. Meng Shenji spoke up, astonished. Normally, a 3rd spirit ring is around 1,500 years. How could you absorb one that's over 2,000? A 2,000-year spirit ring from a plant king like the Great Vajra Vine is comparable to those 6,000 or 7,000-year rings. How did you dare? He was speaking from Orthodox Academy thinking. The practical safe age for a 3rd spirit ring was about 1,500 years, and the hard limit was 1,760. Few spirit masters were qualified to approach or exceed that threshold. Meng Shenji's figure of 1,500 reflected caution, stable and safe. Wang Li stood a little taller, smiling lightly. I endured it. Senior Dugu tempering my body, I suffered countless pains to take it. Others shouldn't try it lightly. I'm from a tiny city in the far western Fasano province of the Heaven Dew Empire. I came here step by step. It wasn't easy. The 3 teachers and Senior Dugu gave me this chance. How could I not seize it? Even if I had to bear pain and risk, it was because I only had this mutated blue-silver grass spirit. I want to be stronger. I crave strength. I must become stronger. Every word cut straight through. Wang Li's resolve resonated with Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan, and Ji Lin. They looked at him, their expressions softening. Meng Shenji exhaled and said gravely, I understand now. No wonder you became so strong. Even with a titled Douluo's guidance, most people wouldn't dare be so reckless. Wang Li didn't care how they rationalized it. He simply wanted everyone to know his gains came from his own audacity. He wasn't afraid of theft, only of envy. Even with Dugubo's protection, caution was necessary. Nearby, Yu Tianheng, who had been healed by Ye Lingling and had woken, had originally felt unwilling. But after hearing Wang Li's explanation, he couldn't deny the result. His own 3rd spirit ring came from a medium-quality spirit beast of about 1,500 years. Big sects often predetermined the spirit beasts and the ages their disciples absorbed, reliable, abundant choices rather than rare, exceptional ones. Powerful spirit beasts were scarce and couldn't be distributed to every disciple. After long experience, sects chose plans that provided stable, compatible spirit abilities. Grudgingly, Yu Tianheng accepted that losing to a blue-silver spirit master wasn't necessarily unjust. He ground his teeth, feeling bitter. The other members of the Heaven Do royal team, who had once envied Wang Li's strength, now felt differently. Their own backgrounds were solid. They could grow strong without courting death recklessly. Dying now would be an unacceptable loss. Perhaps only Du Guyan felt torn. If the three teachers and Qin Ming hadn't been present, she would have rushed out to comfort Wang Li with a gentle embrace. Among the three teachers, Jilin admired Wang Li even more and felt a little remorse. He hadn't taken Wang Li as a disciple before, and now that Du Gubo had trained him, it was awkward to claim him anew. Still, he wanted to show goodwill. With a smile, Jilin said softly, "Wang Li, we understand your situation. You've reached the 40th rank of spirit power, but you haven't found the spirit beast you truly want. Tell us which spirit beast that is. Although we're not as well connected as your Grace B. Lin, the Heaven Do Royal Academy has a very wide network. If we mobilize it, we can help you find that spirit beast. I'll personally take part in hunting it for you." Meng Shenji and Bai Baoshan nodded in agreement. They didn't see Jilin's offer as overstepping. With Wang Li's current spirit power, absorbing a fourth spirit ring would elevate him to 41. With 2 years of diligent cultivation, he could become a high-rank or mid-rank spirit ancestor and would undoubtedly be a top competitor in the next all-continent advanced soul master competition. Wang Li's heart leapt. If the three of them helped, the chances of finding the greedy root demon would improve dramatically. He answered, "What I want is the greedy root demon. In battle, if I can grab an enemy and leech their spirit power to weaken them, it'll greatly boost my control and reduce my spirit consumption. My blue-silver grass's spirit rings are powerful, but its own consumption is very high. Senior Dugu recommended the spiked thorns to me. Its armor piercing would help, but I still think the greedy root demon is better. If the three teachers could help, I'd be grateful." The three teachers' faces darkened. Greedy root demons were rare, and as a plant spirit beast with mobility, they were even harder to find, scarcer than many other plant beasts. At that moment, Qin Ming spoke up. "Three teachers, why don't I take Wang Li and the Heaven Do royal team to the Star Do Great Forest to search? With Wang Li's strength, he should become a core member. But he hasn't spent much time with the others. That's not good for the Grand Soul Master Tournament. Searching the Star Do Great Forest for his fourth spirit ring will also give him more exposure to the team, so everyone can get used to cooperating." Qin Ming had planned to take the team to practice spirit dueling, but it made sense to bring Wang Li into the fold first to build teamwork and coordination. Meng Shenji considered the suggestion and nodded. "Good idea. Let everyone get acquainted. In the next all-continent advanced Soul Master competition, you'll need to be close comrades. Whether we find the greedy root demon in the Star Do Great Forest or not isn't the point. The main goal is to build teamwork. We three have some old contacts. We'll reach out. We're bound to find something." The Stardew Great Forest is a vast, wild spirit beast preserve stretching across both the Heaven Do Empire and the Star Luo Empire. 2/5 in the Heaven Do and 3/5 in the Star Luo. It contains every kind of terrain and landform imaginable. With a bit of luck, a hunter can hope to find whatever spirit beast they need. Qin Ming's suggestion that they take Wang Li into the Star Do Great Forest to train the team and hunt spirit beasts was an excellent one. Meng Shenji agreed, and the plan was set. The Heaven Do Royal Academy team was the same group Wang Li remembered: Yu Tianheng, a Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Spirit Master; Du Guyan, a Bilin Snake Spirit Master; the two Shimo brothers, Xuanwu Tortoise Spirit Masters; Yu Feng, a Wind Chime Bird Spirit Master; Oscar, a Ghost Leopard Spirit Master; and Ye Lingling, a Nine-Heart Begonia Spirit Master. Wang Li had been away for 3 years, but his strength was undisputed. Yu Tianheng had felt that lesson in his bones. Yu Tianheng was not weak, far from it. He'd always been stern and taciturn, but after his defeat, he grew even quieter. No one dared bother him, but he couldn't let it rest either. When he looked at Wang Li, his eyes flashed like lightning. He was impatient to fight again. This wasn't only about a rivalry over Du Guyan anymore. It was about a blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit master's pride. Yu Tianheng believed Wang Li had pushed past his limits when breaking his third spirit ring and had become dangerous. As long as Wang Li remained at the spirit elder stage, Yu Tianheng might still have a chance. But once Wang Li reached spirit ancestor and broke a fourth spirit ring, triggering a new second-stage dragon transformation, both his physique and lightning would leap to a higher plane. Then, Yu Tianheng knew he might not be able to defeat him. The journey from Heaven Du Royal Academy to the Stardo Great Forest was long. They had to pass through the Sylv's Kingdom and the Balak Kingdom. Even taking the official road at full speed would still take time. Qinming didn't plan to make the students march. They rode in the academy's carriage. The horses and carriage were excellent. The trip was fast and smooth. Along the way, they discussed many new tactical plans. The toughest question was where to position Wang Li. He was simply too versatile. First, spirit ability control. Second, spirit ability healing. Third, spirit ability attack. Any role he took, he could fill brilliantly. After much deliberation, because of Wang Li's decisive victory over Yu Tianheng, they placed him in the heavy hitter role while assigning him flexible support duties as needed. That would let him adapt quickly in battle and let the others build strategies around his versatility. By then, they had reached a small town about 100 miles from the Stardo Great Forest. Towns near the forest lived off spirit masters. This one, though called small, was large enough to serve as hunting teams. Qinming requested 9 rooms and a large private dining room at a rather luxurious hotel. Rooms to sleep in, a private room for meals. Of course, he didn't pay personally. The academy, backed by the imperial family, could always reimburse it. They were finishing a meal in the private room when a sudden spirit power fluctuation rippled past a street-facing window. The intensity suggested a fight between spirit masters. Yu Feng, handsome with short golden hair, immediately stood and peeked out. "Spirit masters are fighting," he called, then hurried to the window. He paused, eyes widening. 6 2-ring spirit grandmasters and 1 3-ring spirit elder challenging a 5-ring spirit king. Those kids are young. Are they from some advanced spirit master academy? Hearing that configuration, Wang Li's heart stirred. He set down his bowl and chopsticks, stood, and moved to the window. 6 spirit grandmasters and a spirit elder against a spirit king. That's worth seeing. Looking down, Wang Li narrowed his eyes and thought, sure enough, Tang San and Xiao Wu have grown. The others must be Dai Mubai, Oscar, Ma Hongjun, Zhu King, and Ning Rongrong. They always like to make trouble. Not daring to cause trouble is mediocrity. Below, the Shrek 7 Devils had just finished pressing their advantage against Konghui Academy. Ye Jiqiu, the director of Konghui's external affairs, had been cautious because of the teachers behind the Shrek 7 Devils and never truly unleashed himself. Just when he tried to go all out, a burly figure came down, slapped him, and cracked the shell of Ye Jiqiu's black tortoise spirit. It had been a humiliating turn. Female students harassed, male students roughed up, and finally the teacher himself was suppressed with a single hand. Wang Li decided it was time to speed things up, find the greedy root demon, and absorb the immortal herbs sooner. But since he'd run into them, he might as well say hello. He'd imagined surprising Tang San and Xiao Wu when he next saw them, and the chance was too good to miss. "I see some old acquaintances," he said with a chuckle. "I'll go say hello. I'll be back soon." Under curious looks from the others, he leapt from the second floor to the street and walked toward the scene. Zhao Wuji and the Shrek 7 Devils, triumphant, were preparing to go back and relax when a clear voice called out, 6 spirit grandmasters and 1 spirit elder challenging a spirit king and holding their ground. That was a spectacular fight. Tang San, Xiao Wu, long time no see. They all looked up. A tall, handsome young man in sky blue clothing smiled down at them. It was Wang Li. Tang San and Xiao Wu froze. Tang San frowned, uncertain, then said, "You are Wang Li?" Wang Li nodded, still smiling. "Yes, it's me. You graduated from Notting Academy 5 years already, right?" Xiao Wu's face lit up in surprise at how much he'd changed. She immediately struck a coquettish pose. "Wang Li, you must call me Sister Xiao Wu. We just graduated from Notting Academy not long ago. We were 29th level spirit grandmasters." Wang Li clapped politely and smiled. "Impressive. Sister Xiao Wu and our boss from Notting Academy graduating as 29th level spirit grandmasters. Xiaowu stuck her chin out proudly. Tang San, however, looked wary. Wang Li, you came to the Stardow Great Forest too? Are you here to hunt spirit beasts? Wang Li met Tang San's gaze and, with a hint of mischief, answered calmly, I'm here to hunt the spirit beast I need for my 4th spirit ring. Tang San's face drained of color, then went dark with shock. Xiaowu looked stunned as well. The others, Zhao Wuji, Dai Mubai, Oscar, Ma Hongjun, Zhu King, and Ning Rongrong, overheard and were alarmed. Wang Li savored their reactions. He had been tortured under Dugubo's hands to reach this level. If flaunting it at the protagonists made him feel good, he would enjoy it. A little provocation never hurt. It made the moment livelier. As for what comes next, the Ice and Fire Immortal Herb and the Blue-Silver Emperor's Spirit Bone, those things will be absorbed in time. The protagonist's growth follows a plan. Events aren't random improvisation. Tang San stared at Wang Li in disbelief, almost accusing. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. It's only been 5 years since you graduated from Notting Academy. How could you have advanced so fast? Wang Li smiled and shook his head. It's not that I cultivated faster than everyone else. It's that some of you cultivated slower. After I left Notting Academy, I went to an intermediate Soul Master school, then on to an advanced Soul Master school. I worked for it, earned my teacher's recognition, and they put me into the best training and cultivation environments. On top of that, I trained under a titled Douluo. The special training was brutal. Bones shattered, organs dislocated. I walked along the edge of life and death and kept pushing myself back from the brink. I endured endless pain to gain this strength, and I know I earned it. Tang San grew more and more stunned with each sentence. By the time Wang Li finished, he was in a daze. Xiaowu, however, had gone pale the moment Wang Li said, titled Douluo. Zhao Wuji, Dai Mubai, Oscar, and Ma Hongjun all looked stunned. Wang Li's story sounded like some mythic legend. Zhu King and Ning Rongrong's eyes widened. They covered their mouths and could not speak. Wang Li's smile fell, and something like sorrow crept into his voice as he turned to Tang San and Xiaowu. We were in the same dorm. I consider you my best friends, which is why I told you this. I remember when we first met, your lithe movements, your strength. I took them as a standard to reach for. But now I regret something. Your talents are 100 times greater than mine. Your results should be 100 times greater too. Did you waste the precious cultivation time of your youth? I remember, Tang San, you love forging iron. Sister Xiaowu, you love to play. That's such a waste, wasting time, wasting talent. If your 6 years at Notting Academy were spent playing at cultivation, I'd be anxious for you. Every word was meant as concern, but each struck like a blade. Wang Li sounded sincere, but his sincerity cut. Low-level abuse hurts the body. Higher-level abuse wounds the mind. The worst abuse does both. He took a step forward, looking at them solemnly. We're both from ordinary families. Our households can't provide superior training conditions, so we must work harder, be proactive, and not settle for comfort. Tang San, Sister Xiaowu, your talents are far beyond mine. If you applied yourselves, you'd become stronger quickly. Of course, if you also had century or millennium-old spirit beast meat every day, powerful instructors training you one-on-one, and an academy that gave you the best environment, you'd become even stronger faster. Wang Li meant to pierce Tang San's pride. He must have known about Tang San's father, the clear-sky Douluo, and how Tang San had little as a child. He likely knew about Spirit Grandmaster Yu Xiaogang and the shabby Shrek Academy. Wang Li expected those details to sting. He wanted Tang San to feel inferior. After all, no matter how much of his strength came from his own effort, there was that 1% of a cheat that made a huge difference. Tang San looked at Wang Li's earnest face and opened his mouth to retort. Words rose, full of anger and trash talk, but they curdled on his tongue. He ground his teeth and answered in a small, defeated voice, thank you. With those words, everything Tang San had done for 6 years was dismissed as merely taking it easy. It felt worse than being punched. Wang Li had a talent for getting under people's skin. He chastised them, and Tang San still had to sound grateful. Tang San's thoughts spun, then he clung to a single lifeline. His Tang Sek techniques, his twin spirits, trying to tell himself Wang Li was nothing special. His breath came faster, but Wang Li had already said his piece and had no intention of lingering. If you ever come to Heaven-Do City, Tongsan, Sister Xiao Wu, I'll throw a welcome banquet for you, Wang Li said warmly. And to all of you here, friends of Tongsan and Sister Xiao Wu, you're my friends too. If you visit Heaven-Do City, I'll make sure you're treated well. His tone was so sincere and so casual that it felt like a spring breeze. He waved goodbye, then turned and left as abruptly as he had come. The group remained rooted in shocked silence. On his way out, Wang Li ran into Qin Ming. Qin Ming recognized Zhao Wuji, but not the current Shrek 7 Devils. "Teacher Qin," Zhao called. Qin Ming replied, "Go ahead and head back. I ran into someone I know. I'll go say hello first." He walked over to the Shrek 7 Devils and Zhao Wuji, excited. "Teacher Zhao, do you remember me?" Zhao Wuji glanced at him. "You're Qin Ming. Little ones, let me introduce. This is your former senior, Qin Ming." "Qin Ming, that young man you were with, was he a pupil of yours?" Qin Ming thought a moment. "I taught him for half a month, then an adult titled Bi Lin took him away. He instructed him after that." Dai Mubai, who had some knowledge, asked in puzzlement, "Bi Lin is reclusive. Why would he take on a student?" Qin Ming didn't hide anything. "His Grace Bi Lin has a granddaughter who's been clinging to Wang Li non-stop. That's probably why." At that, portly Ma Hongjun burst out enviously. "So he's a freeloader, and that's why he has a titled Douluo teaching him. If that were me, I'd get so much stronger." Oscar glanced at Ning Rongrong with a smirk, as if he'd found a formula. "Fatty, if you want that chance, lose some weight first. Look at Wang Li, his build, his face. He's not as handsome as Boss Dai or me, but he's way ahead of you." Their teasing loosened the mood and laughter spread through the group. But Tongsan and Xiao Wu felt suffocated. Wang Li had spoken for them, judged them, and mapped out a future for them, and Tongsan couldn't vent the way he wanted. The words he wanted to hurl, calling Wang Li out, naming that smugness what it was, stuck in his throat. Instead, resentment folded inward, heavy and unspoken. Chapter 72, King of the Forest. Back in the private room, Duguyan took Wang Li's arm and asked curiously, "Who were those people just now?" Wang Li smiled faintly. "They were classmates from the Elementary Soul Master Academy. We only spent a year together before I skipped ahead to the Intermediate, then to the Advanced Soul Master Academy. That's how I met Sister Yan." Duguyan's eyes crinkled with a smile. "I like the sound of that. Want to come to my room tonight? I'll give you a little reward." Wang Li raised an eyebrow. Now a head taller than Duguyan, he leaned down and whispered in her ear, "I certainly want Sister Yan's reward, but we're entering the Star-Do Great Forest tomorrow. Can we postpone it until after we get back to Heaven-Do City?" The warmth of his breath tickled Duguyan's ear, and her expression went dreamy. "Whatever you say, as you wish." Nearby, the others who had been curious about Wang Li's past, the Shimo brothers, Oslo and Yu Feng, quickly scurried away at the sudden display. Ye Lingling's earlobes went slightly red, and Yu Tinheng's face drained of color. A little while later, Qin Ming returned, smiling as if he'd enjoyed his conversation, but he offered no explanation to the group. After dinner, they retired to their rooms. The night passed uneventfully, and dawn came quickly. The Heaven-Do Royal Academy members ate breakfast at the inn, checked out, and set off by carriage. The town was still over 100 miles from the Star-Do Great Forest. It was wise to conserve strength. This was the largest and most famous wild spirit beast forest on the continent. On its outskirts even, one could still encounter century-old or millennia-old spirit beasts. When they were less than 10 miles from the forest, Qin Ming told the driver to stop. From here on, they would not rely on the carriage. After everyone disembarked, Qin Ming spoke seriously. Ahead is the Star-Do Great Forest. Its terrain is complex, and it is home to countless spirit beasts. It's a treasure trove for spirit masters, but also a forbidden land full of danger. From this moment on, assume battle formation. If an emergency occurs, summon your spirit at once. The team answered in unison, "Yes." The Shimo brothers took the lead. Behind them walked Spirit Master Duguyan and Spirit Master Ye Lingling. To their flanks were Yu Feng and Oslo, while Wang Li and Yu Tianheng brought up the rear to guard and support. Qin Ming watched them closely from outside the formation. He wasn't fully confident they would find the greedy root demon that Wang Li sought. After all, It was a rare plant spirit beast that could move on its own. So this expedition was as much about tempering the Heaven to Royal team for the upcoming All-Continent Advanced Soul Master competition as it was about the hunt. They kept a steady pace, and before long they reached the forest. Towering trees and rolling ranges loomed ahead, and a wild, primeval aura settled over them, proof that few humans ever trod this place. Qin Ming's expression grew grave. "We're entering the forest. Stay alert." "Yes," came the reply. Inside the Stardew Great Forest, they occasionally saw various spirit beasts, mostly 10-year ones. Those were no threat and didn't interest them. Wang Li needed his fourth spirit ring to come from at least a 5,000-year greedy root demon, so they had to push deeper. As they advanced, 10 and 100-year beasts became common, and they even began to spot 1,000-year spirit beasts. Those were bolder, and sometimes launched sudden attacks, good training for the team. After more than half a day, they reached a deeper area where 1,000-year spirit beasts were frequent. Qin Ming planned to let them rest briefly before searching nearby when the ground suddenly trembled. The mountains swayed as if some gargantuan creature was passing through. 1,000-year beasts scattered in panic, whether hunting, sleeping, or being hunted, all fled. Yu Feng, flying above them, shouted, "It's a giant ape! A giant ape!" Qin Ming's face changed. He leapt onto a tree to get a better view and shouted, "Retreat! Quickly! That's the king of the forest, the Titan giant ape. It could be a 10,000-year spirit beast, maybe even a 100,000-year one. How could such a thing appear on the outskirts?" The team paled. A 10,000 or 100,000-year spirit beast should live in the forest's core. Why was one roaming the outskirts? Only Wang Li knew the reason. Without doubt, it was the Titan giant ape named Ming who had sensed Xiao Wu's presence and rushed over. If Ming took Xiao Wu away, Tang San would go mad in pursuit and might end up killing a 1,000-year man-faced demon spider. Tang San would absorb its spirit ring and also obtain the 8 spider lances, an evil-attributed treasure with great growth potential. Wang Li had little interest in that. The lances didn't match his life-aligned path. His vision was to let blue-silver vines sweep the world and use his third spirit skill, chaotic dance, to clear the field. For now, he planned to retreat with the others and come back later, once the Titan giant ape had left. Then Yu Feng rubbed his eyes mid-air and said in disbelief, "You won't believe this, but I just saw a cluster of tree roots running on its own." Wang Li's eyes widened at that. Qin Ming frowned, thinking for a moment, then barked, "Yu Feng, confirm the direction and distance." A cluster of moving roots could very well be the greedy root demon. Wang Li needs. The king of the forest's movements have thrown the forest into chaos. We can't be certain of its age, but we must intercept those roots first. Chapter 73, Greedy Root Demon. Please keep reading. Yu Feng's face grew serious. "It's right ahead, about 700 meters. Its escape route overlaps with our retreat path." Qin Ming turned to the group. "All right, students, time to test yourselves. I want seamless cooperation. Capture this greedy root demon. I'll only step in if necessary." Relying on his experience with the greedy root demon, Wang Li immediately gave orders. "Be careful. The greedy root demon has powerful absorption abilities. Avoid close combat. If it entangles you, it will drain your spirit energy, essence, and vitality. I'll go first and use blue-silver vines to restrain it. Yu Feng, Oslo, you're fast. Keep attacking from range. Shimo, you don't need to block it directly. Don't give it a chance to absorb your spirit energy. Just protect Ling Ling. Sister Yan, Senior Yu Tianheng, use your strongest spirit techniques. Poison and lightning are still very effective against the greedy root demon. If it survives this onslaught, Teacher Qin, please step in. If we can't finish it in one blow, it'll absorb energy to recover, which would be dangerous." Wang Li's plan was reasonable and orderly. Everyone nodded in agreement. With the Forest King acting strangely, even the forest edge was unsafe. They had to defeat this threat quickly and thoroughly. Soon a 3-meter sphere of tangled roots rolled out from the woods. Unlike animal spirit beasts, plant spirit beasts lack intelligence and act on instinct. The Forest King, the Titan giant ape, was an overwhelming presence. Any spirit beast under 10,000 years would instinctively flee at its aura. The greedy root demon was no exception. Prepared in advance, Wang Li activated his first spirit technique, Thick blue-silver vines, like giant pythons, shot up from all directions and bound the root mass. At the same time, Wang Li felt his spirit energy draining through the vines. The greedy root demon could siphon his power. He barked, "Everyone, attack!" Duguyan, with a human torso and a snake's tail, a prismatic crystal gleaming on her forehead, let her aura turn cold and cruel. Remembering Wang Li's instructions, she unleashed her strongest technique. Third spirit technique, poison bee-lin, purple toxin. Her lips parted, and a cloud of purple poison mist billowed out. The aura alone made heads swim. The mist enveloped the blue-silver vines and the greedy root demon, its corrosive properties beginning to take hold and leaving marks of decay on both. Yu Tianheng didn't hesitate. Gathering with his third spirit technique, Thunder Fury, he followed with his first technique, Thunder Dragon Claw. The thunderous dragon-shaped energy pillar crackled as it tore through the air, leaving a faint burn scent. Boom, boom, boom. The already corroded vines and root mass could not withstand the assault and shattered into pieces. Amid the explosions and blinding light, broken vines and roots flew in every direction. Yu Feng and Oslo circled at the perimeter to provide support, unwilling to get close while poison and lightning filled the air. As the mist dissipated and the lightning faded, the greedy root demon lay reduced, its body much smaller. But the creature went wild with frenzy. Severely wounded, it instinctively lunged to absorb spirit energy, essence, and vitality to restore itself, charging toward them more desperately than before. Seeing Wang Li, Du Guyan, and Yu Tianheng have driven the demon into frenzy, Qin Ming could no longer remain on the sidelines. He activated his spirit possession and attacked. The first and second yellow spirit cores flared as he roared. Blazing flame, Grey Wolf's roar. Qin Ming's aura surged, even his eyes shone with fire. He spat a towering pillar of flame. As a newly advanced spirit emperor, the power of his strike surpassed Wang Li, Du Guyan, and Yu Tianheng. Yellow, yellow, purple, 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 black spirit cores. The extra purple one looked especially odd, but the flame pillar struck the greedy root demon full force. If it had a voice, it would have howled. That strike was the final blow. The frantic aura quickly faded. The creature crumpled to the ground, charred black and motionless. Wang Li seized the moment. He summoned blue-silver vines again and used his third technique. Chaotic Dance! The vines took on a metallic sheen and moved so fast they left afterimages, seizing the greedy root demon and tearing it apart. At that instant, purple energy erupted and a purple spirit core coalesced. They had successfully hunted the greedy root demon. Wang Li's eyes burned with excitement. If he could absorb this spirit core smoothly, it would fill the final gap in his spirit abilities. Combined with his first, second, and third techniques, his strength would increase greatly. "I really must thank everyone," Wang Li said. "Later, I'll need you to cover me for a bit." Qin Ming frowned. "Wang Li, a reminder, judging by the demon's vitality, it's likely over 5,000 years old. Absorbing its spirit core carries significant risk." Wang Li smiled confidently, even under Du Guyan's worried look. "As long as it's under 10,000 years, I believe I can absorb it safely. I managed to exceed the limit before with my third spirit core. Why not the fourth?" He calmly walked to the dazzling purple spirit core, sat cross-legged, and began the summoning. The purple core trembled, then flew to Wang Li's side and circled his blue-silver grass before merging into it. Qin Ming could only sigh and instruct everyone to remain vigilant, ensuring no one disturbed Wang Li during the absorption. Chapter 74. Unlimited plunder spirit power rolled into Wang Li like a scorching, invasive tide, overbearing, searing, relentless. It surged through him as if a parasite had burrowed into every crevice. Yet Wang Li remained utterly calm. In the last 3 years, he had been resurrected from death more times than he could count. How could the spirit ring of a greedy root demon under 10,000 years old faze him? Only a 10,000-year ring or older, carrying a spirit beast's lingering resentment, could cause him real trouble. Anything younger was harmless. The incoming spirit power intertwined with his own, but he felt no pain. Within his meridians, a thin film of energy shimmered, white as jade, crystalline and fragile-looking, yet it repelled each fierce impact of the invading power. With the air of someone handling a minor chore, Wang Li seized that external spirit power and began to circulate it through his meridians according to his cultivation technique. He guided it toward his dantian, the start and end point of his circulation, and the place where his blue-silver grass spirit resided. As the foreign spirit power was tamed, the blue-silver grass began to change. Under the nourishment of this new, abnormal energy, it absorbed the demon's vitality and its remarkable assimilation ability. Hour after hour passed, 1.5, 2, until finally the restlessness around Wang Li died away. He opened his eyes. They glittered with a new light. He checked his interface. Spirit, blue-silver grass, level 3. Spirit power, level 1. Trait, vitality blue-silver grass is found across the continent. Though normally weak, it has exceptional vitality and can slowly recover from injuries. Passive, tenacity LV3. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. When afflicted by abnormal conditions, as long as outright death is avoided, the body becomes stronger during recovery. Spirit rings, first quipped, second quipped, third, fourth, footbone, none. 3 abnormal conditions. And the evolving interface read, LV3, LV4 life source. He hadn't quite reached the next evolutionary stage yet, that was expected, but then he opened the 4th spirit ability entry. Spirit ability, infinite plunder, can plunder energy infinitely. Same type energy plundered at 100%, heterogeneous energy at 50%. Plundering speed depends on the wielder's spirit power. The stronger the spirit power, the faster the plunder. The weaker it is, the slower. Caution, do not overwhelm your body. Source, greedy root demon, a root-type spirit beast that can shed stems and leaves, possesses abnormal absorption and can travel independently to places where it can grow rapidly. Wang Li felt a thrill. This was an exceptional ability, top tier. Infinite plunder. If he captured Yu Tianheng and drained 100 units of spirit power from him, he would acquire a full 100 units. If the enemy's power was converted into a different form, lightning, for example, then he would only get 50 units, granting him the equivalent of 50% resistance to that element. As his own spirit power increased, the ability's efficiency would skyrocket. The only real risk was whether his body could handle the intake. His mind raced with possibilities. I'm level 41, almost a level 42 spirit ancestor. With 4 spirit abilities combined, I could even take on a spirit king. Spirit emperors and spirit saints might not be able to kill me outright. Tenacity's resistance to abnormal statuses will finally be useful. He pictured consuming the ice and fire immortal herb when he returned, boosting his resistance to those elements so he could freely draw energy from the ice and fire eyes and finally suppress Senior Du's poison. A grin spread over his face. This keeps getting better. Maybe for my 5th spirit ring, I'll hunt a spirit beast with disguise skills. If I get a disguise ability and a disguise spirit ring, I could use all my experience in one go. That would be glorious. As long as I don't draw the attention of the very top powerhouses, few on the continent could touch me. He stood up. The sound of his bones cracking carried through the clearing, drawing immediate attention. Duguyan hurried over, squeezed him a few times, and stared at his face with obvious relief and affection. It's good. You're all right. Thank goodness. Yu Tianheng's expression was sour. Wang Li had absorbed the 3rd and 4th spirit rings from that greedy root demon. How could you not feel thwarted? Looking at Wang Li, who now seemed to hold both strength and favor in abundance, Yu Tianheng sighed in resignation. He intended to request leave from Heaven Do Royal Academy and return to his sect for secluded cultivation, aiming to break through to level 40. For his next spirit ring, he would hunt a truly powerful spirit beast. He had been beaten by Wang Li in strength and in affection this time, but a blue lightning tyrant dragon soul master prized his pride above all. Losing a battle temporarily didn't mean losing for life. Qin Ming, meanwhile, was relieved but curious about the new ability. The whole soul hunt had been chaotic. It was only thanks to the Forest King's strange behavior that they'd found the greedy root demon. He asked, Wang Li, what's the new spirit ability? Wang Li half smiled and summarized, careful not to reveal everything. Qin Ming was his teacher, but also a Shrek Academy student. It's an absorption ability. After capturing an enemy, I can drain their spirit power, weaken them, cut my own consumption, and greatly increase my control. Qin Ming nodded with approval. Good. The control role is the core of any battle team. Stronger control ability improves the whole squad. They agreed to leave the Stardew Great Forest. The Forest King's abnormal activity was unsettling. Better to withdraw early than risk more trouble. Wang Li had spent 2 to 3 hours integrating the ring. He wondered if Tang San had managed to retrieve Xiao Wu. The 8 spider lances had clearly empowered that boy. Perhaps there'd be another chance someday to compare devouring abilities and strike at his proudest point. The thought amused him. With that, the group departed the forest, their minds turning to the next steps of cultivation, recovery, and the battles to come. After returning to Diao Province, but before they reached Heaven Do Royal Academy, Yu Tianheng sought out Teacher Qin. His voice was firm. "Teacher Qin, I'd like to request some time off to return to my sect for secluded cultivation. I need to strengthen my spirit power and spirit abilities. I want to push for the breakthrough to level 40 spirit power and obtain a spirit ring." Teacher Qin was surprised, but he'd been a teacher long enough to read the situation between Wang Li, Du Guyan, and Yu Tianheng. He had no appetite for meddling in matters of the heart. Though he wanted to persuade Yu Tianheng to stay with the team's training, the resolve on the young man's face made him relent. "All right," Teacher Qin said. "Don't pressure yourself too much. Wang Li has Master Bilin's guidance and his own stubbornness. He'll push himself to the limit to absorb spirit rings. I admire his spirit, but don't copy his recklessness. It's dangerous. One misstep can cost you your life." Yu Tianheng nodded, then said his goodbyes to Teacher Qin and the rest of the Heaven Do royal team and set off alone for his sect. Wang Li and Du Guyan felt little about it. Wang Li wasn't going to give Du Guyan up to anyone, and since Du Guyan had fallen for Wang Li, she had already moved on from any feelings for Yu Tianheng. Still, both of them wished Yu Tianheng an early breakthrough. He had been a teammate and had helped in the hunt for the greedy root demon. The others, Shimo, Yu Feng, Oslo, and Ye Lingling, felt a twinge of emotion and, more importantly, a warning bell in their chests. Wang Li was already a spirit ancestor and so young. Yu Tianheng was heading back to his sect to try to reach spirit ancestor as well. All of them had been considered prodigies since childhood. If they didn't push now, they'd be left behind. None of them could honestly say they weren't a little envious of Wang Li's 4th spirit ring. Because of Wang Li, and because the team had helped him obtain the spirit beast needed for that ring, the whole Heaven Do royal team was holding its breath, eager to achieve spirit ancestor as soon as possible. One day later, at the academy's main campus, the 3 senior teachers had already heard about Teacher Qin's return with the team. Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan, and Jilin personally came out to greet them. Teacher Qin came forward and saluted. "3 teachers, we're back. The mission succeeded. We helped Wang Li hunt down the spirit beast needed for his 4th spirit ring. Wang Li has officially become a spirit ancestor." "Excellent, excellent." The 3 teachers smiled broadly. A spirit ancestor at Wang Li's age would almost certainly set a new record on the continent, and he was their student. Meng Shenji's gaze swept the group, and then he asked, "Where's Tianheng?" Teacher Qin looked a little helpless. He asked for leave. He said he wanted to return to his sect for secluded cultivation, to push for level 40 spirit power and obtain a spirit ring. The 3 exchanged glances. They'd lived long enough to know that the young were proud and driven. The news surprised them, but it didn't shock them. "That boy is proud," Meng Shenji said. "I hope he learns to see this clearly. Pressure can be a spur, but cultivation should be steady, not rushed." He turned to Teacher Qin. "You all traveled to the Stardew Great Forest to hunt spirit beasts. Give the students a few days' rest." Teacher Qin nodded. "I already reported Wang Li's success to our academy's dean, Emperor Shuye of the Heaven Do Empire. His Majesty was delighted to hear that the academy produced such a young talent. Due to state affairs, he can't receive Wang Li in person, but he has sent the Crown Prince in his stead. Since you've just returned, the Crown Prince should arrive tomorrow. Wang Li, don't leave the academy. Tomorrow, you'll accompany the 3 of us to receive the Crown Prince." At once, every pair of eyes turned to Wang Li, full of envy and admiration. He showed a hint of surprise, but he understood the implications. As his strength rose, so did the attention from the highest levels of power and from the leaders of many factions. That didn't frighten him. Strength brought protection. He also had Douluo, a titled Douluo, to back him up. As long as he behaved respectfully, there would be no trouble. There was one complication. The crown prince coming to meet him was likely not the real Shui Qingye, but an impersonator, Qian Renshui, someone tied up in the tangled identities around Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong and the late Pontiff Qian Shunji. The layers of politics were messy, but the conclusion was simple. The boy would be received as the crown prince's guest. If the crown prince showed goodwill, Wang Li would accept it. If they tried to court him, he would be grateful. Either way, once he grew stronger, he would no longer need to curry favor. On the surface, Wang Li adopted a slightly nervous expression and asked, "Three teachers, are there any special protocols for meeting the crown prince? Anything I should be careful about?" Meng Shenji smiled. He'd watched Wang Li rise from humble beginnings, no family influence, no backing from a sect, just a child from a small town in the westernmost Fasinuo province who had somehow made it to Heaven-Do Royal Academy. The emperor's pleasure at such a plain but genuine talent explained why he sent his heir personally. "Don't worry," Meng Shenji reassured him. "The crown prince is courteous and easy to get along with. He won't be overly formal. Just show basic respect. The three of us will be there with you, and will put in a good word." Wang Li relaxed and returned the smile. "Thank you, teachers." With that, the spirit beast hunt came to an official close. The trip had not only secured Wang Li a fourth spirit ring, it had also placed a 12-year-old spirit ancestor squarely in the sight of the Heaven-Do Emperor and the Crown Prince. Such a prodigy would be hard to ignore. As everyone else drifted away, only Wang Li and Duguyan remained, strolling through the academy grounds. Finally, Duguyan spoke. "Xiao Li, when you meet the Crown Prince tomorrow, be careful. There's no reason for him to harm you, but Grandpa told me to keep my distance from the royal family. They can seem gentle on the surface, but their hearts are frighteningly cold. They'll do anything for power." She hesitated, then went on. "My grandpa said that the current crown prince wasn't the first choice. The other princes who could have vied for the position all died under mysterious circumstances. In short, stay vigilant. Don't get dragged into the royal struggle, and above all, don't let yourself become someone else's sword." Wang Li met her worried gaze. The concern in her eyes was so plain it was almost physical. He smiled softly. "I understand, Yan Yanjie. Ever since I left that little village, I've wanted to be a strong spirit master, not chase after worldly power. If this crown prince is acting for the Heaven-Do Empire, then as a citizen and a spirit master, I'll give him the respect he deserves. But if he's acting for himself, I won't let myself become a tool in his hands." Hearing that, Duguyan relaxed. Surprise and a hint of admiration lit her face. "Xiao Li, with that calm head and steady heart, I don't need to worry about you after all." She lifted her chin, revealing a sharp profile and the pale column of her neck. An arrogant curl touched her expression. Her green eyes gleamed with an icy light. "Big sister will protect you. No one can force us to do what we don't want. Grandpa will handle anything that comes up." Wang Li was momentarily startled, then his chest warmed. He remembered how, the first time he met Dugubo, Duguyan had stood firmly at his side and helped him secure Morsay. Calling her big sister was no empty courtesy. She was gentle inside, imperious outside, and fiercely protective. Words alone would have seemed thin now, so he took Duguyan's hand and they walked through the academy together, enjoying the small private world they shared. Speak of the devil. Not far ahead, under a tree's shade, stood a tall figure in a gray robe, Dugubo. Duguyan brightened, tugged Wang Li along, and sped over. She clung to Dugubo like a spoiled child. "Grandpa, why did you come today?" Dugubo stroked her hair affectionately, then glanced at Wang Li. "I came earlier to see you, but your academy's 3 teachers told me you went hunting spirit beasts in the Stardew Great Forest, so I waited. Did you find the spirit beast you wanted? Did you get the spirit ability? The greedy root demon is rare. It usually hides underground. When it shows stems and leaves, you can find it by sight, but when it doesn't, there's nowhere to look." Wang Li grinned. "We found a greedy root demon. 100,000-year Titan giant ape charged to the forest's edge and scared a bunch of 1,000-year spirit beasts into running. I happened to find the greedy root demon among them. Also, Senior, I'm confident I can suppress the virulent poison in your body. The ice and fire yin-yang well has an enormous energy reserve. By absorbing its energy with my fourth spirit skill, I can continuously use my second soul skill. Although there's a big difference between a spirit ancestor and a titled Douluo, I'm confident I can push the virulent poison back into your spirit, like I managed for Yan Yan Jie. It won't remove the spirit defect, but it won't endanger your life or affect your cultivation, so you won't suffer anymore. Duguyan's face lit with joy. She already knew, because Wang Li had told her on the way over. Dugubo, however, was momentarily stunned. 100,000-year spirit beast like a titan giant ape scaring a greedy root demon into the open, such luck bordered on unbelievable. He looked at Wang Li, a strange smile curving his mouth. So that's why you wanted the greedy root demon. Wang Li nodded honestly. That's one reason. Its absorption spirit ability will help me too. Dugubo reached out to pat him, but Wang Li stood 1.84 meters tall. The pat landed on the shoulder instead. No rush, Dugubo said gently. I've borne this virulent poison for so many years. Another little while won't ruin me. You know how fierce the ice and fire yin-yang well's extreme heat and extreme cold spirit powers are. Absorbing a lot of that into your body all at once, even you might not withstand it. Wang Li wouldn't dare to recklessly absorb a massive influx of extreme heat and cold into his body either. His vitality trait and resilience passive gave him endurance, but not that much. Still, with the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the Li Huo Xing Jiao Su, things were different. He could use the extreme heat and cold he had absorbed over 3 years as a guide, then draw a large reserve from the yin-yang well to dissolve the medicinal power of the two immortal herbs. He believed he could take in all the medicinal energy at once and gain a comprehensive improvement. The plump, dark, green bamboo shoot he'd seen earlier, he'd been coveting it for a long time. It needed to be eaten while young. If it matured into bamboo, it could become a 100,000-year ferocious beast, and then who would end up eating whom? The thought made his appetite stir, and he chuckled. I have to try. After I meet the Crown Prince tomorrow, let's return to the ice and fire yin-yang. Well, Senior, I've accumulated 3 years of extreme heat and cold. Maybe something unexpected will happen. Dugubo was pleased by Wang Li's determination, though he didn't let himself hope too much. He narrowed his eyes and said in a low voice, The Crown Prince asking to see you is probably Emperor Sheye's intention, but don't let him seduce you with a few flattering words into sacrificing yourself for him. The royal family's internal affairs are not something anyone is qualified to meddle in. Wang Li nodded. I understand, Senior. The next morning on the mountainside main campus of the Heaven Dew Royal Academy, the 3 teachers once again wore their black robes edged in gold, hair immaculate, faces serious. Today was important. As soon as Wang Li arrived, Meng Shenji pulled him aside. Wang Li, things have changed. Not only is the Crown Prince here today, but his teacher is too, the sect master of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, Ning Fengji. He's the head of one of the upper 3 sects among the 7 great sects. Your age, your spirit power, and your talent have amazed a lot of people. Wang Li was a little surprised, but he didn't worry. Let them come. Sooner or later, he'd face scrutiny. His current strength came from his own effort and endurance, countless times beaten nearly to death, countless times recovering. None of it was make-believe. He could stand examination. Not long after, Crown Prince Shui Qinghe of Heaven Dou and Schoolmaster Ning Fengji of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School arrived together. They made no grand entrance. Shui Qinghe was accompanied by only a few guards and Ning Fengji by a single attendant. That attendant, however, was an enormous man, well over 2 meters tall, all bone and no bulk. His cheeks and eye sockets were hollow, his hair thin, and he had a sinister look about him. Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan, and Jilin immediately stepped forward and bowed. Your Royal Highness, Crown Prince, Schoolmaster Ning, Your Grace. Shui Qinghe was very young, around 20, handsome and mild-mannered, exactly as Meng Shenji had described, refined and pleasant, which naturally put people at ease. Ning Fengji shared that same genteel air despite their different appearances. Master and disciple, they fit the roles perfectly. Shi Qing spoke softly. 3 teachers, please. No need for such formality. My teacher and I arrived unannounced, pardon the intrusion. I heard the genius from our Heaven Do Royal Academy, the one who reached 40 levels of spirit power at 12, has returned from the Star Do Great Forest and become a spirit ancestor. The 3 teachers taught him well. On behalf of my imperial father and the Heaven Do Empire, I thank you. Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan, and Ji Lin smiled wryly. Meng Shenji finally said, Your Royal Highness, the 3 of us truly do not deserve such credit. This was cultivated by your grace, Bi Lin. Wang Li left 3 years ago, and when he returned, he already had 40 spirit levels. Before Shi Qinghe or Ning Fengji could reply, Gu Rong, the bone Douluo and a titled Douluo, couldn't help himself. That old poison who only fiddles with toxins raised such an outstanding junior. His domineering gaze swept past the 3 teachers and fixed on Wang Li. A heavy pressure fell from all sides, but Wang Li's expression did not change. He stood straight and unbending, like blue-silver grass braving sun, wind, frost, and rain. A deep, imposing voice rang out from a distance. What, old bone, not convinced? Why can't this old man raise an excellent junior? If you can, you raise one too. As the voice faded, Dugubo, clad in a gray robe, descended onto the campus with Dugu Yan. Dugubo had not planned to appear for Shui Qinghe alone, but with Ning Fengji and Gu Rong present, the situation had shifted. Ning Fengji's public image, refined, sincere, was well known, but Dugubo understood that his kindness could be a facade. Ning Fengji could be utterly ruthless when required. Upon Dugubo's arrival, both Shui Qinghe and Ning Fengji showed him proper respect, regardless of their private thoughts. Your Grace, Bi Lin. The 3 teachers likewise addressed him as Your Grace Bi Lin. Only Gu Rong stayed defiant, mocking, Old poison, what are you out here for? Come soak up some sun. Dugubo glanced at him and replied proudly, This old man brought his granddaughter to see her future husband. Is that any of your business? At that moment, everyone saw Dugu Yan move to Wang Li's side. The 2 of them stood close, intimate. Shui Qing and Ning Fengji both wore expressions of curiosity. Shui Qing stepped forward, smiling lightly. The 2 Your Graces, we came to meet the genius student of our Heaven Do Royal Academy, Wang Li, who became a spirit ancestor at 12. He should come out so we can be introduced. All eyes turned to Wang Li. Encouraged by the 3 teachers' expectant gazes, he stepped forward and bowed. Your Royal Highness Crown Prince, Schoolmaster Ning, Your Grace, Grandpa. Dugubo froze for a moment. He'd been called senior yesterday and now grandpa today. It confirmed what he already suspected, and now Wang Li had said it aloud. The title was settled. Shui Qing has studied Wang Li more closely, his gaze showing genuine appreciation. He recited Wang Li's background as if listing a treasured record. Wang Li, born in Fasinuo Province, Nuoding City, Wang Family Village, southwest of the Heaven Do Empire. His humble origins are as ordinary as can be. With a mutated blue-silver grass at only 3 spirit levels, you were successively admitted to Notting Junior Soul Master Academy, Lija Intermediate Soul Master Academy, and Heaven Do Advanced Soul Master Academy. 3 years ago, you gained the favor of Your Grace, Bi Lin, and now, 3 years later, at 12, you are a 41-level spirit ancestor. Remarkable, truly remarkable. Wang Li's face remained steady. As the crown prince and future ruler, Shui Qinghe could easily investigate anyone's past. Nothing about Wang Li was hidden. Still, a 3-level mutated blue-silver grass combined with a 41-level spirit ancestor at 12 seemed incongruous. Wang Li spoke calmly. Your Royal Highness, you're exaggerating. I never expected to be where I am. Back then, I only thought I had to make something of myself. When I was young, I lost my mother. At 3, I lost my father. I carried farm tools taller than myself to work the fields just to have food for the next day. I thought I would live my whole life that way until my spirit awakened at 6. 3 spirit levels, and even though it was only a mutated blue-silver grass spirit, I was thrilled. It was a chance to turn my life around, to make a name for myself. Of course, I seized it. You were born into wealth. You don't know what I experienced. You call me a genius, but I've never thought of myself that way. I sweat enough and bled enough to deserve this. A 41-level spirit ancestor at 12, anyone can reach that if they have the determination to spare no effort, the drive to not even care about their life. Wang Li's words hit people with force. Shui Qinghe seemed moved. An apologetic look crossed his face. Wang Li, I did not mean to pry into your past. For Wang family village, the empire has issued a decree. The village is exempt from taxes for 10 years. The local city lord must personally bring food, vegetables, and clothing to visit the villagers every year and a half. Security patrols around the village will be strengthened to eliminate bandits, rogues, wild beasts, or spirit beasts that might threaten the villagers. Notting Junior Soul Master Academy and Ligia Intermediate Soul Master Academy have both received commendations from the Empire for cultivating such an outstanding spirit master as you. Upon hearing this, Wang Li bowed and began to speak. Thank you, Your Highness. The villagers helped me a great deal, and Notting Academy and Ligia Academy gave me the best education I could ask for. The happiest thing for me is being able to repay them. Shui Qing's smile deepened. If you want to thank someone, thank the current emperor, and thank the Heaven Do Empire. The emperor and the empire do not mistreat any citizen. Wang Li adjusted his tone. Thank you, Your Majesty. Thank you, the Heaven Do Empire. Ning Fengji chimed in approvingly. Neither humble nor arrogant, grateful and eager to repay kindness. He may not be a top-tier genius, but in the world of spirit masters he's already surpassed his peers. Wang Li, how splendid it would be if you were a disciple of my 7-treasure glazed tile school. A son should be like Wang Li, Gurong rumbled. My daughter, Rongrong, has fine talent, but I spoiled her. She's not yet a spirit elder. Ah. Wang Li's chest tightened. Ning Fengji's words had an edge to them. He hurriedly protested. Master Ning, you mustn't say that. I envy your daughter. She must be the apple of the school's eye, a bright moon in the sky. She didn't go through my tragic past. I envy her happy childhood. With the 7-treasure glazed tile school behind her, her future is bound to be brilliant. There's no need to rush. She's growing up with warm memories, not angry scoldings or harsh reprimands. Gurong was the first to agree. Sectmaster, he's right. Rongrong's talent is already decent. The important thing is a happy childhood. Her spirit power can improve gradually. Ning Fengji shook his head, a little helpless. The people who spoiled Ning Rongrong most were him, Chen Xin, and Gurong. They'd pampered her into comfort. Her being only a spirit grandmaster at 11 or 12 years old was a sore point. Ning Fengji turned to Dugubo beside him. Your Grace, Bilin, how do you raise younger talents? We can exchange ideas. It's for the children. Fengji is shamelessly asking for advice. Dugubo glanced at Wang Li and spoke bluntly. It's nothing complicated. Drag the kid out and beat him every few days. Put enough pressure on him and his spirit power will soar. Sometimes you have to be ruthless, otherwise he won't amount to anything. The hall fell silent at the crude simplicity of it. Ning Fengji stared at Wang Li, stunned. Wang Li, is that how your Grace trains you? You accepted all that? You endured it? Wang Li answered with absolute sincerity. Yes, people need pressure to grow. My life is as nothing as roadside blue-silver grass. If I can become stronger, I can accept anything. Everyone else thought the method was only ever suited to someone like him. If any ordinary child were beaten half to death every few days by a titled Douluo, they'd die for sure. Ning Fengji frowned. Who among them would dare beat Ning Rongrong? Neither he, nor Sword Douluo Chenshin, nor Bone Douluo Gurong would be able to emulate that. Shui Qinghe was also surprised. If Wang Li's strength had indeed been built this way, there was nothing ordinary about it. Shui Qinghe cleared his voice and steered the conversation back. Back to business. Wang Li, you're already a level 41 spirit ancestor, so you no longer receive subsidies from Spirit Hall. You shouldn't be entangled with Spirit Hall affairs. Someone. At that, a guard stepped forward carrying a tray covered with red cloth. Shui Qinghe lifted the cloth to reveal a brilliant gold coin storage card. This card can be exchanged for 10,000 gold coins at any bank on the continent. It's a one-time reward and subsidy from the Empire for outstanding students of the Heaven Do Royal Academy. Furthermore, when you graduate, you may choose to become either an honored guest of the Empire or a consecrator. If you accept the honored guest post, you can receive 3,000 to 30,000 gold coins annually, depending on your spirit power. As a consecrator, you would receive 10,000 to 100,000 gold coins annually, likewise depending on your spirit power. Generally, honored guests enjoy more freedom and therefore less income. Consecrators must serve the imperial family and receive much higher pay. Wang Li understood that Shi Qinghe, actually representing the empire, was trying to secure favor. He accepted the 10,000 gold coin storage card without ceremony. Sometimes when a gift is offered, it's best simply to accept it. What he chose after graduation would be his own business. "Thank you, Your Majesty. Thank you, Your Highness," he said. Afterward, Shui Qinghe and Ning Fengji courteously invited Wang Li to visit the Crown Prince's mansion and the 7 treasure-glazed tile school. Wang Li declined politely, using cultivation as his excuse. He could refuse precisely because Douluo stood beside him. That presence made it easier to turn down powerful offers. In the end, though neither Shui Qinghe nor Ning Fengji succeeded in recruiting Wang Li on the spot, they left satisfied. Outside the academy gates, Ning Fengji turned to Shui Qinghe. "Qinghe, how do you assess him?" Shui Qinghe replied, "Wang Li comes from humble origins, but he has lofty ambitions, decent talent, and strong will. With your Grace Bilin's protection, he will certainly become formidable. And with no sect or family ties to bind him, he's a recruitable target." Ning Fengji nodded. "Indeed, someone like him is prime recruitment material. It's a pity his spirit, mutated from blue-silver grass, is lacking in some respects. Level 29 was one hurdle he crossed. Level 69 will be another. Only when he breaks through to level 70, absorbs the 7th spirit ring, and becomes a spirit saint will he truly be considered a powerhouse." Shi Qinghe smiled. "Teacher, your student has learned much." When Ning Fengji and his companions parted, Ning spoke quietly to Gu Rong. "Uncle Gu, when Rong Rong returns, don't spoil her as before. She has had a happy childhood, but ultimately she'll have to shoulder the 7 treasure-glazed tile school. When necessary, apply some pressure." Gu Rong felt a pang of regret, but nodded. "All right, what about that kid?" Ning Fengji looked up at the sky. "Qinghe is right. His talent and will are solid. He has the potential to become a spirit saint, perhaps even a spirit Douluo. But a titled Douluo? I've never heard of one with a blue-silver grass spirit. It wouldn't harm the 7 treasure-glazed tile school's standing in the Spirit Master's world to list him as a target for recruitment. If we can sway your Grace Bilin a bit toward our side, our investment will pay off." Gu Rong nodded. He wasn't afraid of Douluo personally, but he had a weakness: the school's reputation and survival. Douluo was a lone wolf. Although they ridiculed him, they were unwilling to make an enemy of him without a foolproof plan to eliminate him entirely. "Very well, but I want that blue-silver grass spirit for study. I need to see where it mutated. 12 years old, level 41 spirit ancestor." He trailed off, considering the implications. The 7 treasure-glazed tile school had 2 titled Douluo, Bone Douluo Gu Rong, a level 95 spirit power, and Sword Douluo Chen Xin, a level 96. Either of them could overpower Douluo. In fact, with Ning Fengji's coordination, they might even be able to kill him. But Douluo's real deterrent wasn't simply his strength. If he died at the school's mountain gate, his terrifying poison could annihilate any spirit master below level 90. The mountain gate itself would become a dead zone for 100 years. That kind of consequence gave the school pause. It made them reluctant to turn Douluo into a mortal enemy unless they were absolutely sure of victory. After Shi Qinghe and Ning Fengji left, Douluo took Wang Li and Duguyan with him. Carrying Wang Li in one arm and holding Duguyan with the other, he teased as they flew through the air. "Wang Li, how do you feel? Even the Crown Prince and Schoolmaster Ning of the 7 treasure-glazed tile school are bending over backwards for you." Wang Li, dangling in Douluo's grip, managed a wry smile. "They're not being kind to me," he said. "They're flattering you, Grandpa. If it were just me, that bony titled Douluo would probably be choking me and asking which side I plan to take. The Crown Prince has investigated my past, my village, Nodding Academy, Ligia Academy. I can't refuse that kind of attention. But Yan Yan Jie and Grandpa, you've both warned me. I won't get mixed up in the royal family's internal struggles. My only goal has always been to become a powerful spirit master. As for Schoolmaster Ning, the 7 treasure-glazed tile school is one of the upper 3 sects. Impressive as it is, I'm used to freedom. I don't want to join a sect. It's better to stay a free spirit master with Yan Yan Jie and Grandpa by my side." Duguyan giggled. "Exactly. Whatever the 7 treasure-glazed tile school can offer, Grandpa can too. They'd tie us down with rules and restrictions, but Grandpa doesn't control us. Freedom is comfortable. Grandpa is the best. Wang Li agreed wholeheartedly. Watching them, Dugubo's face softened. He valued relationships deeply. The deaths of his son and daughter-in-law had been a wound that never healed. Now his granddaughter's severe poison could be suppressed, and his own poison might be held in check. At that moment, anyone who dared harm Wang Li would face Dugubo's wrath. Back at the ice and fire yin-yang. Well, the red and blue springs, entwined yet separate, continued to pour out extreme heat and extreme cold spirit power without end. Dugubo's expression turned serious as he warned, "You can absorb the extreme heat and cold from around the well to cultivate, but that doesn't mean you can draw energy straight from the ice and fire yin-yang well itself. You became a spirit ancestor at 12. Spirit King and Spirit Emperor will come in time. My body can wait." Wang Li stepped closer to the spring and summoned his spirit. Blue silver grass curled around him. 4 spirit rings, 2 yellow and 2 purple, pulsed as they spun. He reached out, trying to extend blue silver grass branches into the yang spring and cold spring. In an instant, the branches in the yang spring were carbonized by the fire poison, and those in the cold spring froze solid under the ice poison. The severity of both poisons showed plainly even against his third stage blue-silver grass. A somber look crossed Wang Li's face. If his grass, evolved and bearing 4 spirit rings, couldn't withstand the springs, it spoke to the deadly nature of the yin-yang well. After all, Tangsan had once made the million-year-old deep-sea demon whale king suffer terribly using this very spring and cold. He turned to Dugubo and Duguyan and said quietly, "Grandpa, Yan Yan Jie, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't dare draw directly from the ice and fire yin-yang well, but over the past 3 years, I've absorbed large amounts of extreme heat and cold spirit power, and some special changes have occurred." He walked to a plant near the spring that radiated intense heat, squatted, and slowly extended his right hand. His wheat-colored skin took on a faint red glow, as if resonating with the herb, Li He Xing Jiao Su. Both Dugubo and Duguyan were startled. Wang Li hurried to explain. "My body has accumulated a lot of extreme hot and extreme cold aura," he said. "These 2 plants are nourished by the ice and fire yin-yang well. They contain immense heat and cold energy, but they're not as overwhelming as the well itself. I can feel that the aura in my body will allow me to absorb these 2 herbs. After being tempered by them, my strength will increase significantly. More importantly, I'll be able to directly absorb the well's fully homologous extreme heat and cold energy in the future, making cultivation far more efficient. It should also give me the ability to help Grandpa suppress his severe poison now." Dugubo frowned. "That's speculation. If you're wrong, do you understand you'll risk your life?" Duguyan, likewise unsettled, urged him. "Xiaoli, your talent is already exceptional. Don't take such a huge risk." Wang Li knew the danger. Absorbing the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the Liu Xingjiao Su carried risk, but he believed it was possible. He couldn't fully explain why. He lacked Tong San's mysterious heaven treasure record and Chrysanthemum Douluo's immortal herb catalog, and he couldn't identify most herbs by name. He had to rely on memory from his previous life and the extreme auras in his own body to recognize these 2. He couldn't let them slip away. "Grandpa, Yan Yan Jie, I'm not joking with my life," he said seriously. "I truly believe absorbing these 2 herbs will help me, and it will let me help you, Grandpa, suppress your poison." Duguyan began to speak again, but Dugubo cut her off. "If you insist on taking them, do it. You've always been decisive. But if you can't endure it, I can forcibly purge the extreme heat and cold from you. If that happens, your spirit power may stall for years, maybe more than a decade. Damage to the foundation is very hard to repair." Wang Li nodded. "I understand, but my mutated spirit gives me strong recovery and adaptability. I believe I can succeed." He stepped to the point where the red and blue springs met. With both hands, he sent blue-silver grass branches into the water and plucked the Lai Hao Xingjiao Su on one side and the octagonal mysterious ice grass on the other. The branches began to carbonize and freeze almost immediately, proof of the herb's extreme nature, but Wang Li retrieved them with lightning speed and stuffed both into his mouth. To Dugubo and Duguyan's surprise, the herbs melted on contact and turned into liquid that flowed into his body. Instantly, explosive waves of extreme heat and extreme cold erupted within him. The auras already present in his body ignited. His skin alternately glowed with fiery red and icy blue. Instead of pain, the two extremes balanced. What had been burning became warmth. What had been biting cold became cooling relief. The two forces alternated in rhythm, stabilizing rather than tearing him apart. Without hesitation, Wang Li leapt and plunged straight into the ice and fire yin-yang well. Wang Li's jump startled both Dugubo and Duguyan, but when they looked, they saw he was unharmed. Inside the ice and fire yin-yang well, the fiery red spring and the ice blue spring had lost their power. They looked like ordinary water. At that moment, Wang Li felt the medicinal essences of the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the Li Huo Xing Jiao Su, two immortal herbs, beginning to transform his body. He only had time to call out, "Grandpa, Yan Yan Ji, I'm fine. In the ice and fire yin-yang well, I can absorb the herb's properties better. Please take Yan Yan Ji out of the valley first. The extreme heat and cold in the well will harm her." After he spoke, Wang Li sank down again. Outside, Dugubo breathed a sigh of relief and said to Duguyan, "It seems he's really all right, getting bolder every day. Absorbing two herbs is one thing, but he actually jumped into the yin-yang well. Still, you're right, Yan Yan. We should go outside the valley first. This place is dangerous for you." Seeing Wang Li unharmed, Duguyan relaxed. The closeness to the well had made her feel uneasy. She looked long at the ice and fire yin-yang well and said, "I understand, Grandpa. Take me outside first, and then you can come back. If Shaoli needs help, with your strength as a title Douluo, you can still save him." Dugubo grumbled, all right, you're completely wrapped around that kid's finger." Then he escorted Duguyan out of the valley and returned alone to stand guard beside the well. Inside the ice and fire yin-yang well, Wang Li's face twisted with pain. The essences of the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the Li Huo Xing Jiao Su were an extreme torment to his body's transformation, like being frozen in a glacier and then plunged into magma. The sensation was enough to make anyone collapse. But Wang Li's body had been conditioned, and he could endure the agony. Low and steady, he said, "Let the pain come harder." He activated his first and fourth spirit abilities. Roots of blue-silver grass surged forth, snaking through the well like giant pythons, and began to siphon the well's energy. The extreme heat and extreme cold were drawn into his body. The two potion-like masses, one red and one blue, had been intertwined and slowly transforming him, but the influx of homogeneous, extremely hot and cold energy dissolved them. The medicinal power that should have been absorbed gradually now burst all at once. Anyone else would have exploded. Only Wang Li, who had spent 3 years absorbing extreme heat and cold spirit power and had accumulated that aura, could accept such a transformation. The cost was unbearable pain. Skin, fat, muscle, tendons, bones, limbs, organs, all were tormented by the opposing energies. A roar of agony threatened his mind. He clenched his will and forced himself to think, this is how the ice and fire body refinement must be. To be clear, both the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the Li Huo Xing Jiao Su have absorbable life essences, each enough to sate Wang Li's current blue-silver grass. Both herbs have the potential to become spirit beasts with lifespans of 100,000 years when fully mature. Even now, each was no less than the equivalent of a 10,000-year spirit beast for Wang Li. Together, absorbed in the yin-yang well, their effect was comparable to a 30 to 50,000-year spirit beast. Around him, a thin cocoon of light condensed, transparent, streaked with fiery red and ice blue. Time stretched. Wang Li, his body being tempered and spirit evolving, lost track of hours. Outside the well, Dugubo could clearly sense that 36 hours had passed. If he hadn't felt Wang Li's life aura growing rather than fading, he would have assumed the boy dead. Then, a special domain spread outward. Dugubo's eyes widened. He sensed Wang Li's aura and, intertwined with it, the vibrant life force of the blue-silver grass. Around the ice and fire yin-yang well, all the immortal herbs began to sway, as if paying homage, welcoming the birth of a blue-silver king. Blue-silver grass at every stage, ordinary blades, 10-year, 100-year, 1,000-year spirit beast grades, are all subject to the influence of blue-silver grass. When blue-silver grass reaches beyond 10,000 years, it is called a blue-silver king. A fully cultivated blue-silver king can develop a unique domain, the blue-silver domain, the exclusive domain of the blue-silver emperor. If a blue-silver king covers enough blue-silver grass with its domain, gains the recognition of its kin, and condenses a massive amount of life force belonging to its species, it can complete the final sublimation and ascend from blue-silver king to blue-silver emperor. Wang Li's manifestation of that special domain meant his blue-silver grass had matured into a blue-silver king, and he had activated the blue-silver domain, the key to becoming a blue-silver emperor. There are paths to that throne. One is the natural way, using the blue-silver domain to gather and sublimate life force from your kin. The other is rebellion. Kill the previous blue-silver emperor and seize the throne. The latter is both hard and easy. Hard because a blue-silver king is severely suppressed before an emperor and can exert less than half its strength against one. Easy because the previous blue-silver emperor had been a love-struck fool who sacrificed herself to a human. Her remaining life essence still belonged to the emperor level, but her own strength wasn't even that of a 1,000-year spirit beast. When the monarch is weak and the ministers are strong, the outcome is obvious. At that moment, the blue-silver domain around the ice and fire yin-yang well contracted fully. Inside, Wang Li gradually opened his eyes. Streaks of fiery red and ice blue flashed across them before they settled back into black pupils. As for the blue-silver domain itself, consider it a secondary setting. In the future, identifying other immortal herbs or locating the 85,000-year blue-silver king and the blue-silver emperor Yin will require a special method. Without that method, they will not be easy to find.